Let's roll, rolling at the start. We here to bring the truth. Jar open this podcast. We breaking through the fake news. They try to silence us, but we will be subdued. We're bearded alpha males here to save the youth. Spitting fire on the mic with the bass Christian takes. Exposing the lies, keeping the demons at bay. We ain't afraid to speak up. We won't be swayed. Jar open this podcast where the truth is laid. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas up, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. We ain't playing games, we're on a mission to awaken the masses with our intuition. Pulling out the corruption with no inhibition. Jar open this podcast, sparking a revolution. We're not afraid to stand tall in a world full of deceit. We're the voice of reason, bringing light to the street. Keeping it real, never missing a beat. Jar open this podcast where the truth meets the heat. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas up, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. Jar open this podcast where the truth will never cease. Join us on the journey to bring back peace. We're rolling Atlas thugs, fearless in our release. Jar open this podcast where the lies will decrease.
What's going on?
How's it going? How's it going? I muted myself this time, even though I didn't need to.
That's funny.
What's up, everyone in chat? Evil Elmo, House, Andrea. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys and gals. So
yeah, wonderful to see everybody.
Yeah. So we got some cool stuff to talk about this evening. Namely this, let's see. Well, we got a few things to talk about. We're going to talk about this James O'Keefe situation. And if you guys can't tell, I shaved my beard a little bit, shaved my cheeks. I don't really like it, but it is what it is.
Looks good.
Yeah, thanks.
You get a real Joe Dirt vibe from you.
Yeah, I didn't. You're saying your face just, your facial hair just grows in all white trashy like that? Oh wait, no, all naturally all white trashy like that. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
It's funny. You got the opposite from me. I keep getting YouTube comments about why is my facial hair as a white guy so dark and so thick. I gotta play defense to defend my whiteness on my YouTube page.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I got a lot of red in my beard going on.
Yeah,
my mom's side has the redheads.
Yeah, you got the nice pepper touch there on the tail end.
Yeah, we're not talking about the grays. Yeah, no, we're not talking about that. That's just my light. You can't tell.
Right. I heard women like that.
One thing I've noticed, I don't have like anything like cool going on like what you saw. Who's that guy that was all controversial on Elijah Schaefer's show with that girl from Australia? Jack
Stock.
His name was Jack something, wasn't it? He had like the Fraternal Order of Men or something like that he was
Jack
trying.
Murphy.
Jack Murphy. Yeah, where his beard is like naturally like white in the middle or whatever, and then it's not. Yeah, I don't got anything cool like that going on.
He probably styles it though, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he said that did that naturally, but not for me.
Yeah, I don't know if you can trust him after what came out about that guy.
Yeah, for real. That's what he says. Hey, what's up? LOL Marble Lola. I don't know. I still can't figure it out. Right. How's it going? In from garden chores, what you get planted? I'm curious. We're gonna sit here and wait quietly until she types back.
Yeah, right. Wait for an answer.
Yeah, I've been doing some gardening stuff myself actually. Just in that springtime, getting the plants out, everything like that, getting all the seedlings into the pots and whatnot. It's hard to grow in the ground down here. It's a lot of sand.
Yeah.
But got my berry bushes.
What kind of berries?
I got like just like wild blackberries. They're super thorny, but I got them like kind of controlled to an area. And then I have a couple rows of blueberry bushes. And then I have like a raspberry plant in a 5-gallon bucket, and then I got another
Word.
similar berry to that in a 5-gallon bucket as well.
You got to beat the birds to them.
Not really. Usually there's just plenty. Oh yeah, and right now I got my mulberry tree is just covered in mulberries, so the chickens are loving that, and the
Nice.
neighborhood birds.
Yeah, we had a bunch of raspberries, or yeah, was it raspberries? I'm pretty sure it's raspberries growing up in our tree line on our property. But like, if you didn't get them like the day they went ripe, the birds would have picked the whole things clean. And we had
Oh man,
multiple bushes in our tree line, but the birds loved them.
oh man, this mulberry bush that I have, it gets like so many, all the branches just weight down. I bought it as like a sapling a few years ago, and now it's like probably 15 feet tall, and it's just got like 100, 200 branches.
Nice.
Well, this says Italian figs, raspberries. I have a couple different fig trees. I actually cloned them or propagated a bunch of them too. I used my my water filtration system on my backyard pond to. I have two 55-gallon Rubbermaid barrels or whatever, plastic barrels,
Yeah.
and the water comes out of my pond, goes up through a barrel, goes into another barrel, back into the pond, and
Sure.
just got some lids in the top, and then I could take like little cuttings and stuff and throw them in those holes, and they grow big old massive root balls, and then I go and plant them. And got a couple figs right now. I actually have a orange tree sitting in there right now that needs to be planted.
Nice.
Kind of cool. It's fun.
That's pretty nifty.
Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, James O'Keefe. We're gonna talk about James O'Keefe tonight. We're gonna talk about the this lady on the children's playground who said the N-word and is now started her own Give Send Go with a goal of hitting $1 million.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about some ICE arrests and this recent discovery by, I think it's Doge. I don't know if it's actually Doge though. Elon kind of is touting it as a Doge discovery that has to do with this Institute of Peace that has basically been through proxy kind of funneling the Taliban and up to some shady stuff that we'll kind of dig into a little further here as we go. TNT, I used to clone weed that way allegedly. Yeah, it's this. That's where I learned it. I mean, that's what I learned it for. Books, tomatoes. just playing around. But yeah, as a kid, that is kind of how I learned how to get into some of that gardening type of stuff, the propagating and cloning and whatnot.
Interesting. I always thought that was a woman's job.
I'm just being a warrior in a garden, man.
Right. True that. Yeah, and I think we were basically waiting for the ball to drop, I think, on the last one, but major still. Just based on the reactions to it was, Mike Waltz getting fired.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing about that was it happened just after we gave our we graded ourselves on our ratings of Trump's cabinet picks just on this last show. So I thought that was pretty funny. I believe we demoted him in that process. So glad we didn't say he was doing a good job and promote him and whatever. But from what I heard from the move, is it's kind of or at least they're touting it as a lateral movement. He's moved out of one position and into another position, so he's not like out. He hasn't like betrayed Trump completely, and Trump's done with him. At least it appears, but we'll see. I guess for now, Marco Rubio is taking over in his place, and I think I read that it's the first time since like 1960 or 1970 when Kissinger did the same thing to hold both of those positions that Marco Rubio is now holding. But it's just an interim time period right now.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I want to get into let's start off with this James O'Keefe story. There's not a whole lot to it because we don't know what it's about, but it's interesting nevertheless, and apparently big. So from what I understand, well, here let me add this to this the screen. While I do that, what I understand of the situation is, he has given a dead man switch to Alex Jones, basically, so that if anything happens to James O'Keefe in this process, information goes straight to the press, apparently. So,
Yep.
it's the old movie setup scenario, blackmail, protect yourself kind of scenario, and protect yourself from blackmail
Right.
kind of scenario, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, tell me
And
what you thought about this video, though. Did you see this video?
yeah, I saw this the other day, and you kind of see stuff from James O'Keefe, and you're like, not like, oh, I don't know, like I doubt it, but you just, something like this is just kind of like a wait and see. But then I saw that how far it's actually progressed beyond this. But let's play this little clip right here because this is James O'Keefe, and it has the heading said T-minus 7 days, and that was posted on the 30th, so we're about halfway there. But this is what he posted.
I'm going dark. I'm not suicidal. Pray for me. This one scares me, guys.
So as always, when somebody asks to pray for them, we will want to make sure we remember James O'Keefe in this story in our next prayer. So, that's what we'll do. But I don't know. It's one of those things where I've actually try to get myself in the habit where if somebody asks you to pray for me, just do it right then. But we're not going to do it right this second.
Right.
And then,
Well, the broad takeaway I had from watching the video, though, was like, and I'm just gonna be honest, like cringe when I saw the second camera angle. Like I was like, oh, interesting. And then I saw the second camera angle, and I was like, oh, dude. Like to me, it was just like a little, like it's just too much. It's a little bit too much, and I get it, right? He's dramatic. He's like a theater kid. He's been doing like he's been doing dances and a bunch of stuff to make fun of people that shine through. But to me, it was like after I watched it, like first 12 seconds, like, oh wow, dude, that's crazy. Last 6 seconds, like, cringe, like, oh, cringe, die. Oh, cringe. Like, dude, you didn't need to do all that.
like 5 seconds of an empty chair.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just poking fun at him, and
Sure.
obviously hope he's going to be okay. But from what I understand and what I saw is that there's two stories, and that one is gigantic and extremely dangerous. The other one is, normal level of like, oh, dang, crazy. Can't believe the Democrats are doing that. But apparently it's the one that gives them a lot of fear of releasing.
Interesting. Okay. So let's see what else we got here. Do we have the Alex Jones? And now is that what this is? Okay.
Yep.
So I tried to find a shorter condensed clip because the only thing I could find was like a 58-minute segment, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
I had a
Also,
10-minute one, but then I found this 2-minute one.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. Also, I'd like to remind everybody to make sure you're hitting that like button and following whatever platform you're on, all that good stuff. Also double check, make sure that you're subscribed. I've seen some reports lately from other people on other channels saying that they were unsubscribed, so might just double check, but let's check this out here real quick.
I have never had so many massive, giant stories in my lap that are earth shaking. And I've never, on top of it, been at the epicenter or very close to the center of two of the three. And I'm involved in the other. And by saying that, I mean dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. I mean, I could feel the angel of death's wings flapping around. So, I'm given this information, obviously.
I was tapping on his microphone, so he's like not even thinking about the production. He's just thinking about what's on his mind. That's
Right.
interesting. Yeah, Chris, I thought I saw that people were unsubscribed from you. I've seen that from a couple other channels as well lately.
As a dead man switch, so that if the people that are set to release it get killed, I release it. So I talked to James O'Keefe this morning, and I'm the only person he's told this information to. And he and his crew are going into complete hiding. And they're going to release 2 big stories. He said next week. I said, you got to release this right now. And I said, so let me guess, you called in case they kill you, right? And he goes, yeah. And he said, I'm going to be talking to him later and getting the information. And I'll just say that publicly. All right. And the information, I've got to talk to people I know. I get to talk to him more later and ask him, because I didn't get to this part with him. I just thought of this. I mean, obviously, I would need to distribute it for everybody's safety, but if he doesn't want me to, I'll just hold on to it. But a lot of people have already been killed over this information. This whole area. And I also need to talk to some of my good current and former FBI sources. I mean, quite frankly, most journalists would work, a year on something like this. And we are like air traffic controllers here. We've got so much going on. There's not time for that. But please pray for James O'Keefe, and please pray for me.
Yeah, TNT, that was the vibe I got. When he lays out that multiple other people have been killed with this, and like that it's confirmed, it makes me think that it's one of the two. It's either Clinton related or Epstein related. Got to be in there. I'd imagine, to have the audacity to say, yeah, multiple people were killed for this. It's probably got to be somewhat level of a mainstream one of those that we know that, politicians putting hits out on people. I mean, I hope that it's a huge story, right? That's what I'm hoping for, right? Because I really don't want to get a nothing burger, right? And get your hopes dropped that you get some other, crazy bit of information. But yeah, I mean, safety to all these guys who were involved in it. I'm unsure why Alex would publicly say all of this too, because it's like, well, he just becomes a target as well. So if they go after
Right.
James, they're gonna go after him too. Like, I would have just kept that quiet, and then if something did happen to him, then it's like, okay, I'll release it because I had it.
Right.
Hopefully there is someone like that James O'Keefe is giving the files to as well, that will keep their mouth shut until the moment is needed of them. You
Right.
would hope.
Well, it's like 2 things. First off, Alex Jones is going to tell everybody about it. Second of all, how do you know that Alex Jones really isn't going to just be like, oh, I'm running this story?
Right.
Like, not to say that he wouldn't. I think he has journalistic integrity, and I believe he protects his sources and all that type of stuff. But I mean, if it's huge, he's telling James O'Keefe to produce it now, and then he hands it over to him. What's to say that Alex just doesn't make that decision? And
Right.
like I said, I don't think he really would. But TNT mentions Alex has plenty of firepower; he can defend himself. Yeah, but I do like what Evil Elmo said earlier about. I always thought if you gave a dead man switch to someone, you didn't say anything, or you didn't say who it was for their safety. Yeah.
Right.
So to your point, which I agree with, hopefully there's a third party that has this information too. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if, Alex Jones is just kind of dangling a little bit of bait out there, seeing if he can get some people to try to mess with them, expose themselves. A little bit of cat and mouse potentially, maybe in the lawfare side of things as well.
Right.
But we'll just have to wait and see. Apparently, it's gonna. I said 7 days on the 30th, which there was the 31st, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So we're talking about 3 days. Today is Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah.
So we're talking Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town. I'm leaving town on Tuesday, so it'll be after our next show. I won't be able to cover it together, but maybe you can do that on next Wednesday's show if you're still around. I know you got a trip coming up as well, but I think it's after that Wednesday.
Yeah, because you're leaving when? So are you going to be doing the next show?
Yeah, I'll be here Monday.
Okay. Word. Okay. So then Wednesday and then Saturday possibly.
Yeah, if you can. Those will be the 2 that I miss, and then I think I'll be back for the next Monday. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. Let me look at a calendar real fast, just because.
Right. Because I think next Tuesday is the 6th.
I might be back in time for Monday. I'll be traveling back home that day. So if I can get here and situated, then I'll be back.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
Oh no, that's Sunday. Yeah, I'll be back on Monday. My bad. I was looking at the wrong day. I'll be back on the 12th.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So expecting that's going to hit what? Yeah. On Wednesday then?
Mm-hmm.
Or Tuesday morning, one of the two.
Yeah, somewhere in there. According to what James O'Keefe said, was 7 days.
I'm curious what it is. I've not been paying attention to any of the recent things there with James O'Keefe. I'm actually unsure like what his recent ones have been. I would imagine this probably would follow suit too. And it's odd too because he even throws out there, Alex does, that normally people would spend over a year working on this story, which I mean I think shows the scope of it as well. And I think
Right.
even, in the early days, right, when Sternovich had teamed up with the Miami Herald, and I can't remember that specific girl's name, that journalist who was on there. I think that they spent like a little over a year building the case with the Epstein stuff before they eventually got the case. They pushed for it to get further unredacted.
Hmm.
So if that's anything close to what the scope is, then yeah, it's probably going to be absolutely massive. One can
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah, right. And TNT said, was it Clinton files? Or, I mean, of course, we're all just speculating and guessing right now. But I mean, there's only so many things when Alex Jones narrows it down and says that people have been killed over this information already. I mean, you're talking potentially like what, UFO files, Clinton, Epstein. I don't think anything like with the royals, like Prince Andrew or anything like that here after this Virginia Guffrey situation. I don't think anything that. I think it would be
Could be MK Ultra.
within
Could
the
be like
United States.
CIA stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be something like that. Could be. I don't know. I don't know what else would be kind of those high profile. I don't know, unless we're talking about just something completely out of left field and we're talking about like oil industry or energy industry development, stuff like that or whatever. But things that have been kept under lock and key for a long time. But yeah, weather control, maybe is a good idea. Good suggestion there, Chris.
Yeah, aliens under the Denver airport. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where did that
That's
story originate
definitely-
from?
That's definitely what it is.
I remember that story being a thing like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, that Denver airport's funky, man. They moved it over, like they rebuilt it over some like mountain complex or whatever, and took it out of the city, and then it's supposedly like got an underground complex. Some say it could even be like an entire city underneath there.
Yeah.
It's got the weird horse. It's named after Satan or something like that, or what is it? Is it
Oh,
the
yeah.
horse statue? I can't think of what it's called.
Yeah.
And the day it was commissioned, it fell over, or maybe not the day it was commissioned, but the day that he installed it or whatever, it fell over and killed its creator. My friend, I got a friend that's flown through there a couple times, and he's like, if you go walking around and you go to the certain areas of it, he's like, there's really some creepy stuff, like paintings on the walls and all that type of stuff as well. So, no, it's a weird place, that's for sure.
Right.
But also, no, that wouldn't be a James O'Keefe thing. I was gonna say there's also the like the whole solar storm thing that's been kind of going on, where brownouts and blackouts and stuff around the nation or around the world. But
Right.
no, that wouldn't be. I don't think that'd be this. I do wonder how long he's been working on it. Alex Jones said that this is a story you'd usually work a year on. He suggested that James O'Keefe release it immediately, but I wonder how long he's actually been working on it. O'Keefe has been handing out, giving out, or however he does it, his cameras and things to independent people, because he can't trick people as much as he used to in disguise anymore.
Right.
So
Right.
he's enlisted the regular people who are, witnessing these things and can expose them at their own jobs and things like that. And so I don't know. It could be a long list of potential situations, I guess. But
Right.
and I agree with whoever said it in chat earlier. Hopefully, it's not something that we already are aware of. I mean, if it's confirming something big, I'll take it. But I don't know. I'm excited to find out what this is, and I'm right there with you. If he builds this up and like the way that he has and doesn't deliver, he's gonna lose a lot of credibility, and that's what we've been getting from a lot of these MAGA. Which he's not really like a MAGA or whatever, but
Right.
it's what we've been getting a lot of lately, and it's kind of like, let's just pipe down until we have some stuff instead of jumping the gun and saying all this bull crap. Pam
What
Bondi
does
on.
strike me is a bit odd that he seemingly like doesn't have much of a relationship with many of like the right wing, like normal pundits.
Right.
You know, like he's really only on like Tim Cast or like with Alex Jones. Like he doesn't really make that many appearances on these big shows ever.
Right.
Maybe
And he
it's by
doesn't.
proxy of him doing like his own thing all the time, but you really never see him on like Crowder or like with Benny Johnson. And outside of here and there, it's like rare he makes those appearances.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. What's up, King Solo Wings? CTNT and just me. A couple other people popped in there. So, what's up, everybody? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope your day's been going good.
Hi, King, no homo.
What?
It's saying hi, gay now. TNT put hi, King, no homo.
Oh.
Man, I'm behind the times.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good. So I don't know. I guess we'll just wait and do what we can, which is what they asked, and pray for them. Oh, somebody had a list here: Clinton's, Obama. Yeah, I wondered about the Obamas. The Obamas are kind of in this weird situation with this divorce. I guess Barack was seen out with another woman potentially. Saw a headline. I didn't read it. And you know, they had the chef that just died at their Martha's Vineyard home, and
yeah, he just fell over just like that.
right. And yeah, the Obamas could be on that list. Diddy, it could be the ones. Diddy's one, child trafficking, Biden crime, Soros. Even what's his name just stepped down from the head of the World Economic Forum. What, Klaus Schwab? I think he stepped down from the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, they found an even more James Bond villain to fulfill the role.
They found a more villainy James Bond villain.
Have you seen the images of this guy?
No, I haven't. But I did. Oh yeah,
God.
I was just gonna say real quick to the Obama thing. Michelle had a slip up the other day and said, like,
yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Speaking as a man or speaking from a man's perspective or something like that, and regardless of what she really is, just being aware of the allegations. That's a phrase that you probably shouldn't say, but anyways.
All right, I'm getting the images of this guy. I'm gonna put it on the outline. Put it at the very top.
Chris says I wouldn't go on Benny's show.
All right, I just added it there in the outline.
Okay, where'd you put it?
The very top thing. Next to topics at the very, very top.
Oh, I gotta refresh then. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is the dude.
Yeah, that's who's gonna.
Oh my goodness, he is really a more James Bond villainy type of James Bond villain.
Yeah.
Look at this
Got
dude.
this crazy thing with his eye going on. Looks like it's robotic cyber eye or something.
Yeah, dude. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What he does is he takes out his eyeball and throws it at you, and it explodes like a grenade.
Yeah, he could just laser a hole through you and you say something you don't like.
Oh yeah, that's much better. It's actually got a Jewish space laser in his eye, and he uses it to create climate change anywhere he's at if he wants to. Yeah, that's
Right.
wild.
Yeah, creepy looking guy.
I mean, who throws a shoe?
Yeah,
He looks like the billionaire from the Thunderbirds.
It's crazy, dude. Somehow they found someone to top Klaus Schwab, right? No, I've not heard this guy speak, so who knows if it like matches up, right? You typically need like the villain kind of like aura, right?
I kind of hope he speaks like a 1940s German.
Right. That'd be something too. I'll take that.
That is really creepy as heck.
Or what if he's like super eccentric, right? He's like one of those like flamboyant villains, like a Loki or the Joker.
They're showing other people in here with the eye thing. Let me guess. It has to do with being a child abuser. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows, right?
So a 99-year-old. Was that?
There's probably some kind of thing that you can get if you do something like that to kids, you know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, like what do they call it?
Panda eyes.
Yeah, I was gonna say if that happens to the kids, I wonder if there's like a reverse effect where if you're really abusive, like something happens to you.
I'm trying to
Obviously,
think. I'm trying to say. I want to say during Trump's first term and the Q stuff was going on nuts. They were saying that this was a result of using
Adrenochrome.
adrenochrome. But I don't know, obviously.
See, I'm typically like this,
and I don't know about this guy. If this is like some permanent thing, or if they just chose to use these pictures of him, or what. But
yeah, well, his name's weird. It's Peter Brabach Lamont.
Brabach
Lamont. Yeah.
It's a hyphenated last name. Braybeck. It looks like Braybeck. Flip Matthew.
I have no idea. Just call him Peter.
I'd have nightmares every night. Yeah, for real. TNT says somewhere there's a woman that wakes up next to him. Yeah. And Andrea said I'd have nightmares every night. There's no way.
Or if he's a typical globalist, probably some underage child wake up next to him.
Yeah. Trippy. Weird stuff. Mm-hmm. So Mike Waltz is out from his original position. Let me bring this over here and let's see. So what I have here for information is that Mike Waltz was ousted as U.S. National Security Advisor by President Donald Trump on May 1st in the first major shakeup of Trump's second term. The decision followed multiple controversies, with Trump announcing Waltz's nomination as U.S. ambassador to the United States on the same day, framing it as a reassignment rather than a firing. Secretary of State Marco Rubio was named the interim replacement, becoming the first person since Henry Kissinger in the 70s to hold both roles simultaneously. Some of the key reasons for Waltz's outing was his ousting was the Signalgate scandal, when Waltz inadvertently added the Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg to a Signal group chat named Houthi PC Small Group, where senior officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, discussed military strikes on Houthi militants in Yemen. The chat included sensitive, potentially classified details, sparking outrage over security breaches through an internal review. Though an internal review cleared Waltz, and it's, if it was classified, I think the general census is that it was, borderline at best classified information. Let's see here. So I got a note that saying that though the internal review cleared Waltz, the incident damaged his standing and fueled calls for his resignation from Democrats, including Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren, the typical, whoever, right?
Right.
The second reason was that Waltz was reportedly angered. Excuse me. That Waltz reportedly angered Donald Trump by engaging in, quote, intense coordination with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about military options against Iran's nuclear program without Trump's full approval. So that's a big one right there. And this was seen by Trump as overstepping his role. And with one Trump aide stating, "You work for the president of your country, not a president of another country." And then there's some other internal friction and loyalty concerns. Waltz struggled to mesh with Trump's inner circle, including Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and Vice President Vance, who counseled him to be more collaborative during a March trip to Greenland. Far-right activist Laura Loomer, a Trump ally. Far-right activist. She's a far-right activist. Come on. She campaigned against Waltz, accusing him of disloyalty and pushing for the firing of his NSC staff in April. Loomer's meeting with Trump led to a dismissal of 6 NSC officials. Led to the dismissal of 6 NSC officials, weakening Waltz's position. Critics included Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson also labeled Waltz as a neocon at odds with Trump's America First agenda. And then finally, his public missteps. Waltz was photographed checking signal chats with cabinet members, excuse me, while during a White House meeting, further highlighting his carelessness. Posts on X criticized his handling of sensitive communications, while some calling him a confirmed leaker. Hours before his firing, Waltz appeared on Fox News, praising Trump and Hegseth, unaware of his imminent departure. So,
well, that's I mean, that's the thing is like people are posting all over that. I mean, this. Wish we could live in a country where people were tried for treason again. As far as I understand, the allegation is that he was meeting with Netanyahu. I'm not sure if entirely in secret, but he was meeting with Netanyahu of his own accord, trying to coordinate things ahead of time and behind everybody's back. That's what you have here from the Raw Lake Nationalist, taking a quote here of this article as well, because Waltz was pushing super hard for the war with Iran. And then the other one, actually, later down the outline, that next one actually had the better clip, because there was a specific way that they worded this here. From the Washington Post, it was that Mike Waltz got fired because he was perceived as working for Netanyahu, not Donald Trump. And there was a Trump advisor who said to him that if you work for the president of your country, not a president of another country. And we had already seen the tales of this, right? We saw it building up with the Signalgate stuff as well. Many people don't even think that it was inadvertently that he had added Jeffrey Goldberg. People think he was actually in on it and he did it purposefully. But again, we saw this coming with the writing on the wall and all the reporting we had gotten. Obviously, I think they had even outlined there in that little summary there. But multiple of their staff on both sides are being fired. And then you had Laura Loomer from the outside putting pressure on him as well. Get him out of your cabinet. Mike Waltz was already one of like the very weak picks in the administration anyways. I mean, him and Rubio. And funny enough, it turns out that they're both on the same team trying to push for war with Iran. Not sure how much of a sign it really is that we're really kind of push those voices out, because Rubio got obviously moved into what his position was anyways. And Rubio is on the side of going for a bit more of a physical and kinetic, engagement of Iran. But, it was crazy because after the firing from Mike Waltz, you had multiple big statements like this from people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, as well as many others who were like, we basically believed in you because we thought we weren't going to be doing the foreign war garbage. And so you had many, many, many little different like letters to address like this from Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is super long. I think Jack Posobiec even posted one. I think Taylor Hansen posted one. There's a couple people in the media space that are big that posted things like this as well. There are a lot of people who were brought in under the banner of Trump because they truly do believe in like no new wars. And that was like their big thing. And for a lot of people, that is their biggest thing. But again, we all saw this coming. I was just glad that he got bounced out. I thought that was a great thing that he got bounced. But inevitably, though, the people who are fulfilling his position and the people who are taking over for him are pretty similar to where he was at in terms of his foreign and geopolitical stances. So I'm not sure how much is really going to change in the dynamic that we currently see.
Right. So I see that the Democrats welcomed Waltz's exit, but argued that Pete Hegseth, who shared strike details in the Signal chat, and another with family members, should also be fired. Schumer, he called Waltz's ousting a step in the right direction, but insisted, quote, they're firing the wrong guy. So if Schumer's unhappy, then I'm happy.
Right.
The Republican sentiment is that some Republicans, like Congressman Brian Mast, he praised Mike Waltz's nomination to the UN, claiming he would intimidate unaccountable UN bureaucrats. However, far-right figures like Loomer celebrated his removal, hoping more of his NSC appointees would follow. And let's see.
Yeah, at 2 weeks ago, they had already fired 10 of his staff. Like his office is getting decimated.
Looks like Waltz's deputy Alex Wong was also removed, and at least 20 NSC staffers had been fired since April, reflecting broader turmoil in Trump's national security team. I think this is. I can't help but wonder if this has to do with some of the lie detector tests they've been putting on people and firing individuals and trying to get rid of their bad seeds. I do like the reassignment rather than just firing him outright, because it seems like every time Trump in the past has just fired somebody outright, they end up writing a book about how bad of a boss or a president that Donald Trump is. So keeping Mike Waltz around, keeping him working, essentially keeping him happy and busy, won't give him the opportunity or afford him the time to think about those type of things, or even be bitter, because most people that get fired are bitter, and then they hold this grudge, and then they're like, all right, well, how can I get rich off this situation? And then it's writing a book, and then whatever happens after that. So while Rubio serves temporarily, names like Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Stephen Miller, and Sebastian Gorka have been floated as permanent replacements, although Witkoff reportedly declined interest. So,
interesting.
So yeah, I assume they'll get him probably replaced rather quickly.
Can hope so. Again, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't really know what to take from it when what you had lined out there, right? It's not even really a firing. He just got put somewhere else. Like, I think the bigger thing, though, is like, when we're talking about all of these senators, right? And like going to El Salvador, people are getting super irritated, right? The right's like, look at these stupid senators going to negotiate in foreign countries without the proper authority. And what is it, like the Logan Act or whatever? I would imagine the same thing would similarly apply. Maybe not the specific Logan Act, but a rogue Trump administration official doing things on his own accord outside of the ire of the administration. You would think that'd be enough to be like, dude, you are out. And I would, it's just like what you had said, right? Because if he's truly angry, right, and he's getting fired for being for what they don't like from him doing, and like, why would you put him somewhere else? Because I would imagine, more likely than not, with all these guys being super egotistical, they'd probably do things to bend it in their favor, right? Or try to get rich off of something and quit caring about the job, or even worse, start sabotaging from the inside.
Yeah. House Leotardo says Gorka can't get security clearance. It'll be Stephen Miller, unlikely, or Mike Anton from the Vance side.
And I saw that Mike Anton is the front runner, and Mike Anton from the Vance side is also another Peter Thiel associate. So it looks like that crowd in particular of the what'd you call it, like the PayPal mafia and those who are adjacent seem to be gaining ground inside the office. This is part of the stuff I was concerned about even previously when it comes to the ties with JD Vance and the Peter Thiel kind of network gaining more and more power and influence.
And then we have this post here from, I don't know Mike Anton at all. I don't know his name, so I'd have to just take your word for it, which I trust you, of course, and I trust House.
Yeah.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene posted, I represent the base, and when I'm frustrated and upset over the direction of things, you better be clear the base is not happy. I campaigned for no foreign wars, and now we're supposedly on the verge of going to war with Iran. I don't think we should be bombing foreign countries on behalf of other foreign countries, especially when they have their own nuclear weapons and massive military strength. And on top of that, we're now told that we have signed a deal for mineral rights in Ukraine in order to pay us back for the hundreds of billions of dollars we gave Ukraine, and they used for money laundering, right? Stole the weapons we gave to our enemies and their leaders. Okay, what we didn't learn. Let's see here.
So it's basically just her saying, like, I campaigned on all these things, and I would expect the administration would reflect that. And she basically ends it by saying, like, because if I, of all people, don't like it and don't think it aligns up with MAGA, then it probably doesn't line up with most people in MAGA.
Yeah, that's true.
What she's saying.
She suggested, why don't we just mine our own rare earth minerals that are tied up on federal lands that the government confiscated years ago? She campaigned on accountability for the communist and tyrannical acts made by the government during COVID. Yet the COVID vaccine still has FDA approval. A campaign on accountability for fair, law, and waged. Okay, so yeah, she's basically kind of saying that she's not happy right now, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
She's saying that she's kind of the litmus test.
Right. And then at the very end there, she writes, if you're losing me, you're losing the base. It's funny enough. You have Cenk Uygur is right there at the bottom agreeing with her.
Obviously, I disagree with most of what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say, but left-wing and right-wing populists should unite on one thing: no more wars, and definitely no war with Iran. It's not our business. Let Israel and Saudi Arabia deal with it. Why do we have to fight their wars for them? I just can't help but, take that with a grain of salt, considering Cenk always defends the Muslim countries. But, our point is just no more wars, no new wars. That's part of the reason why folks voted for Trump.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit more than that too. It's no more wars in for the fact that money and resources be put back into the American people, right? It's the idea that if we're not bombing the literal shit out of other countries, that we should probably be able to focus on other things. I think that's what most people are, at least at the base level, they kind of like perceive that, right? It's like, if we can stop literally bombing other places and stop funneling money to all this stuff that we know is just full of garbage, most people in the base are like, and that way we can help the American people, right? More even just in like a principle thing. Not to say like, not to have a good principle of being anti-war, but most people are pro that because it comes with the implication that means that the American people would be better off because resources would otherwise be spent on them and the focus would be on us here domestically rather than foreign.
Definitely. I like what TNT said. If Cenk agrees, it's proof she's wrong. Cenk is just 100% perpetually wrong all the time.
Yeah, right.
So moving on, we got this whole this, I guess they're calling it a discovery by Doge, but I don't know 100% if it's actually a Doge discovery. Elon's kind of taking credit for it, but there's this story here about let me put on screen, about the Institute of Peace was funding the Taliban. And then it says, but wait, there's more. When Doge entered to dig through their files, their accountant deleted 1 terabyte of records, and people need to go to prison. And this has a 3-minute long video that we'll just go ahead and play here, and then we'll react to.
Jesse Waters sitting next to Elon Musk is so trippy, and I don't know why. Because maybe part of me doesn't think Jesse Waters is a real person. He's just like an AI generated Fox News anchor. So seeing him in real life is like, what? Because I'm like, when is the last time you ever seen Jesse Waters like not behind the Fox News studio? When is he ever out in public talking to people?
Right.
Like never. So
He's
to
just
see
a
that,
Fox
it was like,
News
whoa.
The
Yeah.
Fox News bot that came on the scene when Tucker Carlson left.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, and so it was by far the least peaceful agency that we've worked with.
Yeah.
Ironically,
Of course.
Additionally, we found that they were spending money on
Hold on,
things
pause
like
it.
private jets.
What's up?
Pretty sure the kid talking right now is the one also known as Big Balls.
Oh, I
That
think you're
works
right.
inside
I
his
think
head.
I remembered hearing something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was by far the least peaceful agency that we've worked with.
Yeah.
Ironically,
Of course.
Additionally, we found that they were spending money on things like private jets, and they even had a $130,000 contract with a former member of the Taliban. This is real. We don't encounter that at most agencies.
Yeah.
What was the money going to the Taliban for?
So as a contractor, they received $130,000 for generic services. And to Elon's point, there was not actually a clear description of what the contractor services were for. But
Was it for opium
unclear.
or weapons
Or
yeah,
nothing.
or nothing.
or abroad?
Or yeah, nothing.
And you naturally have to ask the question, well, how did we get here? Like when the country was founded, there were only 4 agencies. Today, there are over 400. So there's been a 100x increase in the number of agencies since the founding of the nation. And thanks to President Trump, he's now signed 2 executive orders to start to reduce the number of agencies in the government, and the Institute of Peace was one of them, which is why our team went in to try and understand what was going on. And that's when we found all of the craziness, like the weapons in their armory. We found the payments to the Taliban.
Oh yeah.
So
Try to hide the evidence.
Right. So just a few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over a terabyte of accounting records from several years. So you'd have to ask the question, well, why would somebody do that? The Doge team, fortunately, was able to recover that data with the help of a few great employees at the Institute of Peace. And I think the most troubling thing was they received $55 million a year from Congress, and any money that went unspent, instead of returning that to Congress, they would sweep it into a private bank account, which had no congressional oversight. And that's what they would use to fund things like events at their headquarters and the private jets. And so I think it's a great example because most Americans don't know what's going on at a lot of these smaller agencies. And this is, I think, the most extreme case of some of the wasteful spend that we're finding.
So the agencies are hiding money from you. They're sending it to the Taliban. They have loaded weapons in the department buildings.
At the Institute of Peace.
At the Institute of Peace.
That's right.
So this is a cover-up when you guys roll in.
This one, yes, they cover up.
It's a cover-up.
They did delete a vast amount of financial information. That's really a definition of a cover-up.
Isn't that illegal to delete evidence?
Yes.
Shred documents?
It is. It's certainly illegal to delete accounting records that that Congress would certainly want to know where the congressionally appropriated funds are going from taxpayers.
When you catch them going Hillary style on their computers, do you refer this to the Department of Justice?
In this case, we did refer the evidence in the accounting example to the FBI and DOJ. And we were proud to do that. So yes, we did.
Resistance has shown.
And I haven't heard a peep from the left regarding this story at all. I don't know if you have or not, but
No, not that I've seen.
this is something that everybody can agree. I would think something that we should all be able to agree is bad. You know what I'm saying? Funding enemies, more waste, deleting essentially classified files. I don't know if it'd be classified, but protected for audit purposes, things like that. I mean, it would be nice if you could just be like, got my W-2, shredded it, don't have it anymore. Sorry, IRS. Don't owe me anything, not accountable. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's pretty crazy. Let's see here. I thought I saw in the comments, it might have been.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah, it was on this video. I saw in the comments earlier that there was somebody in here saying that they worked for these agencies, and it was stressed heavily that they never delete these type of files. And it was stressed upon them heavily, you know what I mean? And so it's weird that they're not weird, but it's an obvious they're hiding something. And
TNT scrolled past it already.
think I did.
That's what TNT said. He said he saw it.
Oh, okay. Where was it? Oh yeah, it
Oh,
was the
that
first
one?
one. I didn't realize it was the very first one. I thought it was down a few, so I skipped over that one. But this person said, I held a Q level security clearance in the Department of Energy. It was drilled into us to never delete any documents for projects we were working on or take them home because we could go to prison. We're all terrified of this. It's insane someone did this, unheard of. And so I expect what we all should expect is some sort of arrest and prosecution. And, you know,
Yep.
really tired of the slaps on the wrist. And I'm ready to see people start going to prison. And
Yeah.
it's just crazy. So
I'll
hopefully,
take the next 5 steps after prison too.
right. And like this just came out 2 days ago. So I'm hoping, yet to be discovered, yet to be seen, but we'll just have to wait and see, and hoping
Right.
for more arrest, hoping for more accountability. This is a good job by the Doge team. And I wish they'd put out more information about what they found and maybe even start name dropping people about who possibly could have deleted this or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, if they were funneling the Taliban while we were actively fighting, if we were actively fighting them against it, like these people need to get charged with treason. Like, I'm
Right.
sorry, like the charge exists for a reason, and it's not for us to never charge anybody with it. You got to find the balls to hold the cojones up to do it. Reason why we don't do it anymore is because treason carries a severe penalty with it compared to any other charges you could basically get, especially treason and both that and sedition. But that's treasonous, right? Like you're now deleting evidence that could have possibly showed that you were funneling money to the Taliban in the middle of a conflict that could have had American soldiers like there who might have been inflicted upon by the money that you were sending to the individuals there who were shooting back at them. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that is probably right in that realm of treason.
yeah.
And
It would
Evil
be
Elma
aiding a
makes a
foreign.
good point.
Yeah,
What was that thing you said last?
would be aiding a foreign country, a foreign entity against your country. Now, I don't know if it means that you have to explicitly be in war, but I think even if Congress doesn't declare war, it's still in a military action that you would have been aiding a
Yeah.
foreign country against us in.
Yeah, I would think so too. I mean, Congress hasn't declared war, I think, since World War II. So I'm sure there's I don't know if there's been a treason case since then, but I would assume probably. But you never know. But Evil Elmo mentions here the person that hit delete will probably get time. But I want to know who told him to delete it. It wasn't just his or her decision. And I agree with that completely. We want everybody that's involved being held accountable. And, with that, I want to ask everybody, make sure you share this video out on the social medias and stuff like that. Try to help us reach some new folks. We were constantly hovering in this like 19 to 20, 19 to, 14 to 19 viewers. I'd like to see that go up a little bit. So, guys, don't forget that part. Don't forget that part, please.
Yeah.
Just me says, at this point, I'll be shocked if anybody gets time. I feel like it will take a miracle because it doesn't seem like any of these criminals ever do time. Only patriots do time in this rigged system. Yeah.
Funny thing, the truth.
And then it takes a Donald Trump to come in and pardon them under heavy, heavy scrutiny.
Well, what pisses me off
Oh,
is that
that's true, TNT. Nobody was accountable, and Hillary and her stooges crushed the phones, and she was protected by the FBI. Man,
yeah, the infamous Reddit
that
of
was under Trump.
how do I bleach what is it? What did he write? What would he post on Reddit? How do I bleach hard drives, or how do I bleach internal software, or something like that? Like,
I can't remember.
like, yeah, can't make it any more obvious what you're trying to do out here, buddy. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, what bothers me the most, a very strong feeling, is when you remind yourself that January 6th protesters and grandmothers who were let into a building have done more time than Epstein and other individuals who have literally trafficked children and also ran a blackmail operation over our country. I mean, at the end of the day, like, that's what I use to keep myself in frame. And like, what really matters at the end of the day is like, yeah, at the end of the day, like, we got to move towards those things being uncovered and those things being done and away with. I can't continue to operate with very, 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 very little trust in the system, to the point when, you know, it reflects nationwide, right? You look at the nationwide voting, right? Less than half of the country even participated in voting in the federal election this time around. And you look at that, right? All it was for the last 4 years was go vote, everyone go vote. And I think that just shows like there's so many people who blatantly just like literally don't care. They don't trust the system. They don't care. They don't want to engage with it. They don't want to participate in it. And so you got to do things that actually bring that trust back. And like, that's why justice matters so much. It's a very inspirational thing to see bad people go away for the bad things that they have done.
Yeah, for sure. And we need to set the example. Fear is one of the biggest, fear of the repercussions is the biggest preventative. And, if they're not going to uphold current laws and hold these people to a high standard, then who's to prevent the next guy from just doing their own bidding or bidding of the highest bidder rather than, being responsible to their duty in their country,
Well, yeah, I mean, and it also matters like on a smaller, like personal level too. I mean, imagine you're a single mother who's like attuned to these things, right? It doesn't have to be a single mother, but just think of somebody who's like already maybe struggling to get by as is, and they see all this stuff in the news. They're paying attention. They're America First patriot, and then they get pulled over for going 3 miles over and get a speeding ticket. And now they're sitting here going, I have to pay $200 for something that's absolute BS, was a minor infraction. And then I got to sit here and watch these guys who embezzle funds and traffic children dictate this country. It's like people get angry at that alone. And they're very keen to not want to cooperate with the system because they deem it as like being unjustly pressured, where they're held to like the highest standard possible. But the people you elect to hold the highest offices in your nation are otherwise held to no standard at all and basically get away with ridiculous crimes against humanity or in general just major like financial crimes and fraud stuff as well too. So it's hard to hold cohesion among American people when everyone kind of thinks that everyone's out to get them, and then that doesn't build trust. It's part of the reason why people don't care about their neighbors either too, right? Animosity all around because everyone's just trying to survive. That's why you got to do things to claw back that trust, and it has to be major, has to be in front of everybody as well too, because that's what you want to hope for, right? You want to hope for a better cohesive system. We're getting the complete opposite. Trump gets in, but the longer he's been in, and as much as I'm proud of the stuff that he's done, I think you look at the social dynamic and it looks like we couldn't be even more further divided.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. What's up, JB? What's up, dude? Let's see. We voted for law and order. Steve says we voted for law and order. I like Trump a lot, but I want to see criminals in government held accountable. What's the holdup? I know, right? I mean, it's only been 100 days, but I was looking forward to some quick decisions and getting these people arrested, and then build the case a little bit, maybe, or something. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to put together rock solid, airtight cases against these people so that they can't squirm their way out. But only got so much patience.
Right. Only have so much patience. You only have so much time. I mean, you kind of think about it too, right? Like say we don't get anything else, right, for the next like few years. Well, we're back to square one, and we're going to fear for our lives if a Democrat gets into office. We have to everyone's got to put their faith back into an election system that I think not many people have much faith in at all. It's just like poor prospects too, because you think like, I think that the momentum's still on our side regardless, just mostly because we do have, right? I think we have the momentum, we have the stronger bench, but I mean, there's still a chance at the end of the day. I mean, when we're still getting less than half the country voting, there's still a chance that a lot of things can happen when it does come time for, the next election. That's what I fear, right? We get an AOC Bernie ticket. I fear what comes with that and just how much they can destroy the country, because seemingly literally anybody but a Republican gets into office, they can do whatever the hell they want in a matter of like 2 days, and they'll have Republicans impeached and people be thrown in jail and investigations be opened up, and debanked and everything else. And so it's just, that's why, it's
Right. And even
imperative.
in those cases where they ultimately walk away, like 99.9% of the Trump cases, it does a lot of damage in the meantime. But I do agree with Evil Elmo here when he says that I'd rather wait on arrests and have everything stick rather than rush and perp walk and nothing happens. I do agree with that because a perp walk is useless if there's no real ramifications. You know what I mean? It's just a show.
Right.
And I'm tired of the show right now. That's why we criticize Pam Bondi for going on Fox all the time. Even this last little video we posted there at the table was Fox, of course, with what's his name? Can't think of
Jesse
his name.
Waters.
Yeah, Jesse Waters. Thank you. I'm sitting there looking at him on my other screen and can't think of his name. So yeah,
Right.
I do agree with Elmo there that want these arrests to stick. Just look really, really, really looking forward to them happening. And there's plenty of time,
Yeah.
but man, I'm chomping at that bit.
That's the thing too, is like, well, the thing about it like this then too. So like, I agree with Elmo on this, but they did the complete opposite with Trump. And for whatever reason, that's effective to those people. We all know here, sitting here in chat, we go, yeah, Trump, these are all these BS sham cases. Well, half the country sitting there without even any real kind of evidence being presented. They just simply see him being perp walked. And that's enough for them inside their heads to go, oh yeah, Trump did do that stuff to E. Jean Carroll. Oh yeah, Trump did do all those classified documents. Oh yeah, Trump did do that. So it's not even a matter of like, what is the right thing to do? It's like, what is effective and how does it appeal to the voter base, and what determines, what determines the narrative control there. Same way where like I disagree with like all of the ridiculous kind of like witch hunts that they did, but it was clearly effective enough to a lot of people in the country that they were willing to vote with no information whatsoever. So on that front too, I think they should do both. I think they should get real cases built against the big dogs and then perp walk people who really have not as much evidence. I mean, if it
Right?
was effective for the left to do it, why do we not copy the same tactics, right? Why do we
Yeah.
not do the same things? And more often than not, even the ones where we know we don't have much evidence on, it's still more than likely we're perp walking someone who definitely did do something. So it's still okay to be poisoning the well with some of these people. And that's what we should be doing. Poisoning the well with a lot of these Dems and all these like ridiculous officials who probably abused and did fraudulent things. Even if you don't have significant evidence on them, you know what they're about. And this is about winning at the end of the day, right? We need to be able to win to have power. We need to be able to win to exercise the things and the changes we want to see. So at the end of the day, if voting's the real kind of system we got to win, that's when you got to start being like, all right, you know what? We don't have much on Schumer, but let's perp walk him. Yeah, arrest him for this. I don't even know what the charge is. Arrest him. Like, as much as like that is a scary prospect, that's what the left has done, and it has been effective for them. And
Yeah.
I think the right's got to begin to start taking things out of the left-wing playbook. If you
Yeah, a
want
little
to
tit for
maintain
tat. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
competition.
And I like that strategy. Some of these lower level people perp walk them and scare the shit out of them, and you never know what they'll say. It might be for show, but then you get them behind closed doors and say, "What do you know?" And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
they start spilling their guts, and it's like, "Oh well, this is sweet." You know what I mean? Now we have a key witness to go after one of the big dogs or something like that, and do that with intentions of not even really going after these people too heavily, but just making it comfortable. That's what they did to everybody around Trump in his first term. They shoved a telescope up every single person's ass and looked into their last 15, 20, 30 years of their life, trying to come up with anything that they did illegal so that they could say Trump associate, blah, 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 and insert the illegal thing that they did and try to make Trump look bad and try to make them look bad. And ultimately, a lot of these people just simply bowed out of the situation. They're like, all right, Trump, I quit my job, and the political persecution stops immediately. You know what I mean? And so it just makes it hard for that made it harder for Trump to function. It made it harder for Trump to be able to trust the people he has around him. And I would love to see some Republicans start doing that to the Democrats. I would love that. I would love to see them start being the reason why this new discourse is being sowed in the Democratic Party. In addition to, the Democrats already scrambling on who their next candidate is going to be, AOC or whatever. What's his name? David Hogg is the progressive. He's going after the old guard Democrats, trying to get them to basically step down. They don't have really any good true leadership. They don't have really any unity. The only thing that they can unify behind are these fringe topics like men and women's sports and things like that.
Right.
Child transitions, the things we can repeat a million times that everybody's aware of at this point.
Right. Spot on.
Political lawfare and stuff like that as well. And it would just be nice to add another little, throw another wrench in their gears, and have these people start fearing for their lives, as far as will they be spending the next year or 10 in prison or not? And how much money am I going to have to spend on lawyers to stay out of prison? How much time am I going to have to spend in DC sitting in front of the Supreme Court, but in front of Congress or in a courtroom or whatever, and just start weighing all these things to sow discourse. I mean, that's how the Democrats have done it for years now, 10 years plus.
Right, like make it painful, and this isn't even just about like the perp walking. This is like all things broad, everything all considered, right? I mean, we're talking about the same people who clip everyone out of context, right? How many years has it been since the Charlottesville? Find people on both sides, they still continually
it's
say
8
that.
years. We're 7 to 8 years.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying, and compare that and contrast that with how like Tim Pool made the video about Michelle Obama defending her. Guys, hold on, that wasn't the correct context. It's like, who gives a S, right? Let it run free, let it run rampant. Show some of these people in bad light. What is it like? I don't understand what like you're protecting there, right? Like obviously, you want to be, the truth and be objective as possible. That's one thing. But you look at it in the frame of winning, right? Like if some left-wing person would have noticed that, they wouldn't have been like, who cares? Like it's negative press, send it. We don't care. We'll take the negative comments.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly been effective, right? Now, you can take the argument too that maybe like there's other things in play that like they're fortifying the elections per se, and maybe it's not actually as effective as we see it. But at least the feeling you would get on social media when you see some of these people give like the most insane takeaways, right? And they talk about how Trump's been convicted for all these things, and it's clearly effective to a good, decent percentage of the population. And that's why I think it's imperative that the right adopt some of these tactics too, and also play on like the emotional stuff as well. One of the things we're awful about, like we don't play on people's emotions enough. Like some of the advertisings and things as well, right? Like think how easy it would be to make ads about little girls scared of all the immigrants in their country. It'd be a very easy ad. You can do 110 different ways, but I don't see any.
Yeah.
And, but the left does the other way around, right? Where they'll show like a trans person or like a homosexual being lectured at by some like, old looking frumpy pastor. And they'll do things like that to play in people's emotions and be like, the world's moving on. These rules are outdated. And people are like, yeah, they are outdated. You can do the same thing, vice versa. You get the emotions behind it, play on people's heartstrings, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see the 6-year-old daughter fear for her life with a bunch of people speaking foreign languages. And she's like terrified something's going to happen to her. Nobody wants to see that. So it would be effectual.
Right. And you could make it even more, you could fearmonger even harder, I guess, off that by saying something like, by presenting it as so-and-so, this little girl so-and-so is scared because her best friend in school was essayed or murdered or whatever by an illegal immigrant. You know what I mean? So now she's worried about going to school, and she's worried about playing in her front yard. Now she's, you know what I mean? You can really,
right,
I would say, ham that up or whatever, but it's serious. It's
right.
Well, they're not even, there's no attempt.
Well, example A, right? I was Lake and Riley's best friend, and then one day she was taken from me. Like right there, you have a real life example. I mean, I don't know if anyone would be willing to step forward because I'm sure it's a lot more sensitive to them than it is to us. But at the same time, there's all these things.
Yeah, but you'd also think that they're way more motivated. They got skin in the game. I mean, more so than we do. Like, you know what I mean? We dedicate time and whatnot. But when your best friend is gone, I think that would be a huge a huge message that they could send out there. You know what I mean? And I would be.
Right.
I mean, that was kind of like TNT mentions David Hogg there in the chat. That was what David Hogg did after the shooting at the school that he went to.
Right.
Apparently, he was there that day in a different area. Went home, saw that the news was at the school doing interviews. Jumped on his bike, rode up there.
Yeah.
Started doing interviews. Basically parlayed that into now he's the leader of the DNC or something like that, right?
Yeah, he's like a DNC chair or something like that.
Yeah, the chairman of the DNC, I think, is what it is.
All I know is he's one massive twink, dude.
Right,
Absolutely massive.
but the thing is, he has this position of, I went to a school that was shot up. My friends passed away, or however he wants to frame it. I don't know much about the dude, but I'm just
That's his
like
whole story.
hypothetically.
Yeah.
He's got this whole scenario in this like redemption arc kind of reason to be motivated, which you would think a Laken Riley friend, you know what her mother is and their family and stuff, but for some reason that doesn't hit as hard as like somebody just like a single person, like an individual person saying my friend was taken. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But
Well, you do it like super exaggerated too, right? Like you could do one with like Riley Gaines, right? She was like, and then I thought I had a chance to win the race. And then this guy showed up, and then have some like super grotesque guy like in a thong, like walk in and be like, "Hi, ladies."
right,
Do stuff like that. Like paint it, like make it as painful as the left has made it for us.
right,
And speak to people and really break that open, right? And be like, you know what? No, actually, yeah, we don't view trans people. We view them as having mental illnesses, actually.
right,
and we got tired of this actually like 8 years ago.
right.
And
We
like the
stopped
David
catering.
Hogg thing, like he comes out and he was like, I heard a gun one time and I thought I was gonna have to live with PTSD forever. But then I realized I'm a man or something, whatever gay shit he does, he's up to anymore. But I mean, it works for them, right? That's what they go with, and that's why he's like
Right.
in the DNC chair now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that would be a good campaign. They definitely need to do something like that. We need to see more proactive cultural moves from the right, trying to get us into a better mind frame, better way of looking at these situations. Instead of being so compassionate on the illegal immigrant, let's have some compassion on the American people that didn't flee
Right.
their own country, who stayed at home and are doing what they're supposed to do in their own country, right? Instead of infringing on other people's culture, other people's territory,
Yeah.
bringing that bullshit.
And then one day, nobody spoke English in my country. Dun, dun,
Right.
and it's like a scary
And
horror film.
So then one day, the white man was the black woman in my
Right,
country.
right. Stuff like that. I mean, they have so much capital at their leisure. I mean, they could whip these things out like it was nothing. Because
Mhm.
I think that would do a bit more play than like, the same old, like, I mean, the edits are good, don't get me wrong, but instead of like the same old of like Trump getting out of Air Force One and like waving and like people clapping, like that's cool. But like, let's
Well,
do
like,
some more that like touches on heartstrings here.
yeah, well, Trump always salutes when he's getting on and off the Air Force One, stuff like that. There's the military dude there.
Yeah.
I remember there's the one video, the notable video of Trump picking up the dude's hat for him and putting it back on his head or whatever, and just being generally respectable. And then there's, you compare that to the videos of Barack Obama just jogging right past the guy. Obama or Biden not even acknowledging the dude exists because he can't see and think and
He
whatever.
didn't even exist. Yeah.
Right. Just showing the difference, showing respect, like bringing back just that type of stuff, the pride of your, patriotism, essentially pride of your country.
Right. And one of the things too is, I mean, you could really, really hammer down, especially the grooming stuff. I mean, you nail down on those people and be like, like this person supports grooming. Like, look what they did with these children. Look what they funded here with these kids.
Yeah.
Do you think kids should be seeing stuff like this? Like, you could go hard on like all those weird California, like,
Well, and show
nude pride
specific,
parades and stuff.
show how like this funding directly led to this crime and this set of victims. You know what I mean? Like, put it out there. Don't just say like don't just make the statements of it, but actually show it. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like the images of like, all of these like naked 70-year-old guys while all these kids are like in the crowd, like looking at them. And it's like, yeah, you supported this.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, paint it, destroy it, man. Poison the well, dude, as brutally as you possibly can. Make it so no one would even want to like be willing to let you babysit their children, let alone hold a public office. Like destroy their image, tarnish it.
Right.
It's insane to me that like you like because when the roles are reversed, right? When you have somebody like a George Floyd, who's like they turn into a literal saint, who is someone who was like beating pregnant women like on like 18,000 ounces of fent or whatever it was, like all that stuff, and now he's got murals all over the world, like all over the nation.
Right.
It's crazy, like the way that they can clearly
Statues.
dominate like the narratives. It's like we got to find a way to figure out what they're doing and adopt it.
Yeah, very much. Very much. They're playing their game hard, and we need to even the score, even the playing field. Bojack says, "I will make it equal." Let's go. Let's get it.
I'll take anyone who can be of any ounce of effectiveness. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Man or child, no women though. Stay at home, please.
So this Shiloh Hendrix story is getting pretty crazy. If you don't know her by name, she is the blonde woman who said the N-word to a 5-year-old, essentially.
Yep.
Then was called out on camera by a person that really didn't have any business being at a playground in the first place.
Yep.
So this story is crazy. Then you combine the fact that she went and started a GoFundMe account, stating that she might have to pull her teenage child out of school, move, relocate. Okay. But the reason why they started the GoFundMe was because they're basically need to relocate and everything like that. And apparently, GoFundMe, GiveSendGo. Forgive me. But GiveSendGo is now like the new battleground of of sorts of the new race wars.
Right. Whatever you want to call it.
The new age race wars of 2025 are being fought on GiveSendGo via who receives the most donations, Carmelo Anthony or what's her name, Shiloh Hendrix. And it's just crazy, especially when you look at some of the comments that accompany these donations on GiveSendGo.
Right.
People are, which I don't have any examples, but people are just very in their cult. You know what I mean? Very much in their, I don't even know what you call it.
Well, Bryson Gray actually had a take. Now, I think that he's overall, like the assessment he has of the situation is awful, but I did think one take he had was pretty solid, which he was saying, but people are saying like, we're building up to a race war, which he was like, come on, like we're already in one. He was like, it's ridiculous to say like we're building up to it. It's like, it's clear that we're in the middle of it right now, and obviously we're in the 4th and 5th generation of warfare, so things aren't fought with actual fisticuffs. Same way that like voting is a proxy for violence, right? Instead of like we hitting each other to determine who gets to lead us and be the rulers of the country, we put a vote on a piece of paper, and then that's what decides it. When it's kind of it's a replacement for that. The same way where I think what we're seeing with the GiveSendGo, the rivaling GiveSendGos are apparently now becoming a proxy and avatar towards people's discontent on the racial grounds, which is, I believe, earlier today, a couple hours ago, hers actually surpassed Carmelo Anthony's. So both of them have went well over $500,000. And and funny enough, you were mentioning the comments thing. Actually, the GiveSendGo guy, Jacob Wells, came out and he actually turned comments off after they were hitting, after hers was beginning to take off, which Just to make a small point before you read there, if you actually want to scroll down on this, and if you can actually sort by liked replies, is that an option on here? Now you should be looking for a guy named Andrew Isker because somebody responded to him and it was a great visual that he had there, right there. Andrew Isker, that, yep. So if you click on that post here, which I thought, this is what Andrew Isker is highlighting, because somebody had made a comment, was just saying that they didn't like the anti-white comments that they were allowing on the Carmelo Anthony Give, Send, Go, which he made the statement and even had an appearance on Timcast IRL talking about how he would not limit anything because he believes in the full First Amendment. And as he says here, right, he's like, I don't like him either, but there's a little thing called free speech that's actually important in our country. And you should have seen the comments written on the other campaigns when Give, Send, Go, where white people killed black people. Disgusting. And then, so if you back out of there, you'll see Andrew Isker's like, oh, wow, nice. You know, this little thing called free speech. But if you click on his post, not the picture, but just his post to see the responses, and you scroll down, that image right here. Now, this is one that I think is, again, the proxy of which we're looking at these things, which was Carmelo Anthony's Give, Send, Go was made all the way back at the beginning of April. And that was fully allowed to have all of the comments on there, all of the very anti-white stuff people were donating for, right? You know, there's some crazy comments. We even had a couple on here a couple episodes ago showing what people were saying on there. Totally fine. And then literally only one day after Shiloh's being around, that it is they're disabled immediately right after that, which I think shows you the way that the pressures are applied differently among the races there.
Right. That is crazy. I love this graph. This is so informative. I mean, Carmelo Anthony's Give, Send, Go had the comments active for literally 4 weeks versus on day 2 for the other person.
Right.
So that's pretty wild. And that's obviously indicative of the landscape.
Yeah, well, and then take this for example too, right? So Carmelo's was made on the 9th. He's sitting at like $520,000 right now. In like 36 hours, Shiloh's at 530 or 540,000. Like she surpassed his in less than almost 2 days.
Right.
Which I think if we're looking at this as like this is being the proxy of a racial conflict or a race war, I think that shows just in general the amount of like silent support that this woman has that a lot of individuals feel. And I mean, I would expect it, right? What is hers going to be at on a 4-week timeline? Is she going to be at $2 million?
So what you're saying is whites win again?
Yeah, right. Well, and again, there are more whites than blacks, so I would like
expect in America. In America, there are, but
right.
I'm just teasing. I'm just playing on the race war thing. Made
right,
me think.
Right.
I actually had Cartman from South Park in my head when I said that.
Right.
Race wars are over, everybody. Whites win again. He goes around because he can't get token to fight.
Right. Which is funny. This South Park's always hilarious. But for the original post though, his statement is wild from Jacob Wells. He's the founder of Give, Send, Go.
Right. And I lost it. There you go. Wait.
Yeah.
And that's this is from Jacob Wells directly. Like you said, he is the founder or co-founder of Give, Send, Go. And he said, at Give, Send, Go, we recently disabled comments on the fundraising campaigns for Carmelo Anthony and Shiloh Hendrix due to the unacceptable volume of racist and derogatory remarks. At the time comments were turned off, both campaigns had raised approximately $500,000 with around 15,000 donors each. We remain committed to ensuring all funds raised are delivered to the campaign recipients as intended. However, we unequivocally condemn the hateful comments that sought to fuel division and harmful narratives. These remarks do not reflect Give, Send, Go's values of hope, compassion, and fairness. Our platform exists to support individuals and families in need, and we uphold the principle that anyone deserves a fair process, not judgment by mob outrage. We took action to stop the spread of divisive rhetoric while ensuring the campaigns continue to serve their intended purpose. We call for respectful dialogue and understanding, even in challenging situations. Thank you for supporting our mission, and to share hope and help Give, Send, Go. So, that's all fine and dandy, but in the era that is post, 20 years post, I don't know, when did Facebook come out? When did these social medias start coming out? I mean,
Oh man,
have you
like
ever
2004.
have you ever heard of just content moderation or of mods? You know what I mean? When somebody makes a derogatory comment, you just delete it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
If you disapprove so much, don't accept the donation in the first place. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's not even the thing. Like, right? Like but it's clear that he wasn't even for moderation, right? With his earlier statement, we saw with Andrew Isker had captured replying to somebody who was upset when the roles were reversed. Like they didn't appreciate seeing all of the anti-white stuff. And
Right.
then it was like, at that point, he was like, well, I do believe in the First Amendment. People can say whatever they want, right? I believe in the full definition, the full absolute version of it. And all of a sudden it changes now. It's like, I really don't think that's your actual belief, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very easy to see how inconsistent your belief was when the pressures were applied unequally like that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, the pressures were applied equally, but the prescription was applied unequally.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, granted, you're cutting it off from here forward, and it's not like you're going to say, okay, well, we gave Carmelo Anthony's Gibson go 4 weeks before we shut down the comments, so we got to wait 4 weeks on the other one. It's obviously accumulation, but frankly, shutting off the people's ability of saying, forgive my French, but fuck this other person, I'm giving you some money to help you, is going to deter people from donating in the first place. They want to be able to say that along with their $5 donation. And so if they can't say it, then you're kind of, in addition to cutting off people's First Amendment right, which, you don't have rights on platforms or whatever. It's just the right from persecution from the government.
Yeah.
But, you're essentially, you're hurting those campaigns for raising money by playing this move, by shutting down the comments. Just let people say their vent their frustrations as they give their hard-earned money.
Well, it was a short-lived victory for them because they, for whatever reason, and maybe they didn't think about this, you can still type in a name for yourself, right? You don't have to, you can leave it anonymous, but it still gives you an option if you want to leave your name. So people are still putting their shorter versions of their comments in the names. So like, you couldn't even stop it because people were finding a way to still say like at least
this $10 was donated by, I hate that other guy.
Yeah, literally that. Yeah, exactly that.
It's like the old workaround when I was a kid and we were hanging out with our friends at the movies or whatever, and it's time for the ride home. We didn't have any money. We used to use payphones back in the day. We didn't have cell phones, right? So you had to use a payphone. But when you were poor like us, there was a workaround. What you would do is you would dial 0 and then ask the operator to make a collect call. And then you'd call home, but your parents knew to decline the call. But the fact that they were getting a collect call from you was the indicator to come pick us up from wherever you dropped us off. Then we just saved the collect call fee and relayed the message and didn't have to spend a quarter.
Yeah.
So you would say there's a second one that was like 1-800-collect, and then it was all automated. You didn't have to talk to the operator. So it'd be like, say your name after the beep, and you'd be like, come pick me up. And then it would ask the person, your parents, like, would you like to accept a phone call from come pick me up?
Yep.
That's exactly what they're doing here with this Gibson Go with their names. I love that. That's hilarious. People will always figure out a way.
Yeah, it's human innovation.
Yeah. TNT, my name was come get me at high school.
Yeah. That's
exactly. It's pretty funny.
That's good stuff.
Jay makes a good point. If they delete my comment, then I would want a refund. Yeah. Not only that, not only would it'd be a deterrent for me to not give my money in the first place. If they did it after the fact, I would think that, delete the comment, give the money back. Yeah.
Right.
And
Which-
then I like what TNT said here. Why do the comments need to reflect Gibson Go's values of hope, compassion, and fairness? Right. It's
Right.
that's your mission statement. That's, you know, when you work for, like, I used to work for a company called Nebraska Furniture Mart. Their mission statement was honesty, truth, and integrity, right, or whatever. And so, like, always have this,
Yeah.
but they didn't tell that to all their customers that walk through the doors. Like, you're trying to haggle me down on the price. And it's like, hey, what? I'm putting at the sign over there. You're supposed to have honesty, truth, and
Yeah.
integrity. That's our mission statement. Why are you trying to haggle me down here? You're making me have a bad day.
Your boss just nods at some lady. Get
You
her.
don't
She
know-
don't have
yeah.
integrity. Get
Yeah,
her.
you
out.
don't apply that to your customers. You apply that to your, you know, your internal workings.
Yeah. No. Well, and the thing is too is like, you know, you had even mentioned it at the top of this as well, which is like the elephant in the room in the whole case is like, well, and then we have even more details on it. So I put together a pretty long video about this topic yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a good video.
Well, you have like Sharmake, his name is Sharmake Bele Omar, and there's like two guys apparently like that were in like this co-joint case, but they apparently had assaulted a 16-year-old girl. Now, here's the thing though. So this event took place in Rochester, Minnesota. Okay, does anyone have an idea of who else is in Minnesota?
Chat, what? That's Tim Walz, governor, right?
So it's Tim Walz, and then who's the very famous Somali who gives out all
Oh, yeah.
these insane speeches all the time?
Oh yeah, Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar. So as we know too, there's a very, very strong Somali influence in this area. So I hopefully have it bookmarked, and I'm going to add it to the thing here too. Somebody did the work because Sarah Fields actually, and I had reported on this as well. Sarah Fields actually had confirmation that the charges were dismissed against Mohammed Hussein Omer, which was not the individual who had recorded the Shiloh Hendrix at the park. He was actually just the co-defendant with Sharmake Bele Omar in that trial against sexually assaulting a 16-year-old. Who they said they were taken care of from like a foster home or something. The story is kind of disgusting. But we did later on, after I'd made that video, and I think earlier today, got confirmation from the court statement documents themselves that said that they also did dismiss the charge against Sharmake Bele Omar, which is hard to keep these guys in track. But with that, you know what they said? They said the reasons for the dismissal of it. It's literally one line.
I have no idea.
In the interest of justice. That's the signed statement for why they dismissed the charges against both of these guys. Now, people are taking that as a DEI thing, as in it would be politically unpalatable to charge these immigrants, much like we've seen all across the country, where they don't bring charges when it's going to be a very negatively reflection of like racial dynamics, right? Like immigrants assaulting children or white children, right? And things of that nature too. And so let me go ahead and grab this here too. I bookmarked it earlier.
TNT says, I simply,
details.
oh, sorry. While you're going to look for that, I was just going to say TNT mentions, I simply can't trust someone that won't eat pork chops, right? Or like a pulled pork, barbecue sandwich. Like, what's wrong with you, man?
I actually had a pulled pork sandwich a little bit ago.
Nice.
So I just added it to the outline there. It's from
Jeremy Kaufman?
I added the wrong one. Nope, not Jeremy Kaufman.
Okay.
Although that is also pertinent to this topic, this story. This one. If you could see that, it's from Dr. Retard.
Okay. Are we watching the video? What's going on with this one?
So the video is just him saying like the charges were dismissed and that like this girl ruined his life. But it's the official document. I think it's the bottom left one. Now, if you can zoom in.
I can't.
No.
Excuse me. It won't let me. It always just like rubber bands back.
What's the way that I did it? That was easy. What did
Try
I
to
do that time? Oh yeah, open the image in a new tab. Just right click it. And then go to that tab. And then now you can zoom in that one.
There we go. Okay, thank you. Good
So
call.
he was right there at the very bottom. They put, where's it at? Yes, Minnesota hereby dismisses the complaint in the above entitled action from February 7th, 2022, which again is insane that the courts take this long to prosecute, charging the offenses of criminal sexual conduct of the third degree, penetration under 18, use coercion, and criminal sexual conduct of the fifth degree, non-consensual sexual contact for the following reasons, in the interest of justice.
Yikes.
Like what? What?
That's really weird.
And if you go, so the other two pictures attached are actually the witness statements, or they're the police. Yeah, they're the police report, which was filled out by, I believe, one of the officers, highlighting the details there of the case from the female. If you hold control roll and then use your wheel, there you go.
Okay. So let's see here. On January 20th, 2022, Officer Parker spoke with the complainant by phone in reference to a sexual assault. The complainant witness, a male fully identified in police reports, was reporting a sexual assault involving a juvenile female who had stayed with him in foster care. On the day, witness had taken victim 16-year-old female to a children's hospital in Minneapolis for sexual assault. Nurse examination. Victim had previously been in foster care with witness, but was currently assigned a placement in Farmington, Minnesota. Witness, excuse me, witness learned that victim had run away from her foster care placement in the early morning hours of January 19th, 2022. And you're right about that. I mean, we're almost 3.5 years later to this day. I don't know when the actual court case came, but I mean, we're talking, it's like 2 years later or whatever.
Yeah, so he was supposed
we just don't
to
have room for all these extra people they're trying to cram into our country. Like, people deserve swift justice.
Well, get this. He was supposed to appear in court on May 5th this month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
And like
okay.
and by the time that I had gotten to the article from ABC6 News, they had actually already updated it to reflect. It was like I had gotten to an hour after they updated the article that they had updated it to reflect that the charges were dismissed.
Crazy. So have you seen this video? What's this?
I watched like 10 seconds of it, but as far as I understand, it's him confirming that the charges were dropped against him or dismissed against him.
All right, screw that. I don't need to play it.
But that is the guy who allegedly recorded the incident against Shiloh Hendrix.
Wow. This guy right here is the guy that was recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so you have all that there, right? So it's like allegations at the minimum of this incident that happened there, which brings into the next thing, which is this 5-year-old, as far as we know, is unrelated to this kid, or unrelated to this guy. No correlation with them being together at all.
Right.
And we don't have confirmation that the kid's even 5 years old. We don't have confirmation at all that he even has autism, like they've said. No confirmation on those things. I don't even think they've identified who this child is, if we even know who that person is or not.
Right. Not
And,
like we're trying to dox them or anything like that, but
Right.
the video didn't show any other kids on the playground, which I thought was odd. Like,
Right.
they're having this exchange walking straight through the middle of the playground. There's nobody else around. And
There was one mother. There's like one mother with one child that you
there
can
is.
see in an offshoot frame, as it's like at the very beginning, I think,
Okay.
as before he like turns the camera and she walks away from him.
Okay. And Evil Elmo's trying to start a war in chat saying Canadian bacon is better than regular bacon.
Yeah,
Sorry,
is disgusting.
that just completely threw me off.
Now you done pissed me off.
He says you're dead to me, Elmo.
That's funny.
That is really funny. No, but I was just saying, like, okay. Excuse me. But I was just saying, like, we don't even really know who this kid is, if he really even did it. Like, this whole thing could be a publicity stunt, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
we just don't know. Because, like, first of all, where's the supposed 5-year-old's parent?
Right.
This guy's the one coming to the rescue, right?
Right.
But you would think the parent would be the most irate individual here. So what did you just call my son?
Right.
Like, do you not understand what's going on in this world right now to call a 5-year-old that and have such a harsh, response in the way that she did?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it wasn't really a harsh response. It was just a bold, not backing down response. It kind of cracked me up that I hate to laugh at this scenario, but she said, I just called him what he is. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Are you seriously?
Yeah.
That was not good. Not good at all, because it didn't apply. I mean, you're talking about a child. He's got a lot of lessons to learn. A very innocent person.
Right. Yeah. And that's more of like what the video really is, right? It's like not her in the moment saying it, it's the aftermath of it and her being unwilling to like back down or feel sorry for what she said.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I kudos to her for that at least. But part of this whole scenario that's weird to me is the kids' parents were like, "Yep, he is Pablo."
It would be funny if it was the reaction.
Like, what? She's right.
Yeah, right.
The parents over there, like, dude, shut up.
That's actually hilarious. Oh man. Well, the meme that I saw that got me really good was like it shows like the inside of a house, like if you were to like kind of like a cake, if you were to like cut open a house, kind of like a Barbie doll house, right? But the image is like a husband and wife at the dinner table, like on one side of the home. And the husband's like, I can't believe she used the N-word. And the wife's like, oh my gosh, yeah, my goodness. And then the living room is an elephant trying to hide. And it was like a 30-year-old man at a kid's park alone. And it's like the elephant in the room, right? It's like he's like trying to hide, which is like, yeah, isn't that the bigger story? Is like an alleged like, criminal sexual offender is just like at a kid's park filming. Like what?
Right.
Right? Like is that
Without a kid of his own, like he's just hanging out at the playground. Yeah. For
right.
real. It's like, what are you doing here? You saw this opportunity to get on World Star for 2 seconds and forgot about the fact that you shouldn't be hanging around the park in the first place there, bud.
Right.
Just goes to show that these Indian folks aren't the most intelligent.
Well, and the thing is too, so I read the full details that they had posted about the case there, the allegations that the victim had made towards the 2 gentlemen, and even to the point that once she had gotten there in their care, they had actually like took away her shoes so she couldn't run away. So when she actually fled and was picked up by the witness who was unnamed, she had abrasions all over her feet because she forced herself into these like undersized rain boots, apparently from like one of the younger daughters that one of these guys has, to just like get out of there because they like took her shoes and hid them from her.
Damn.
Now,
Yeah.
I will say to be principled and consistent, I'd never believe women at their word. That's just a rule. The Me Too movement destroyed that for me. But in this case, that didn't become a Me Too. It wasn't viral at all. It wasn't a censorious thing. These guys aren't rich at all. I think they were both living in the same mobile home together. That it doesn't strike me as in the same vein even at all. And I think when you take that and the dismissal for the reasons of not sufficient, like evidence, but like you're going to just say in the interest of justice, it makes me think that it was a politically unpalatable conviction that they were about to lay down. So they just decided to dismiss it.
Damn. That's just crazy. And it's in Minnesota too. That's where
Right.
the trial was. I mean,
Yep, Rochester, Minnesota.
broke woke central, man.
Right, and then the aftermath, right, is the fact that the NAACP is like they already started like their own second, like they started their own Give, Send, Go or GoFundMe. I don't know which one it was. But
Right.
They started their own for this kid that I don't think anyone's identified. We don't even know who this kid is.
Proving
then they're pressuring.
NAACP still exists in the wake of the Carmelo Anthony crickets.
Right. And it's crazy too, because they're pressuring the police department to charge her they want her charged with some like kind of hate crime. And the way that they labeled it, at least from their statement that I saw from the local branch there in Rochester, was that it was clear that in this video that what she did, she carried out a committed racist targeted attack on a 5-year-old, that she intended to do that. And it's just like,
It was first.
now you have right here with Cassandra Fairbanks said that all these TikTokers are calling CPS en masse on this woman to try to get her kids taken away from her.
Which is crazy because the parents of the autistic boy who did this, you know, once again, where are they at? Shouldn't the CPS calls be going towards them? But Cassandra, you know, Cassandra says here, yeah, everyone's acting like it's normal that a supposed 5-year-old autistic boy was in the park alone. If CPS is involved, it should be over that. Wild. And then she posted this video with it. So I guess let's watch this video here real quick.
And in 2025, this is what you do. And the fact that you did that when that little boy's parents were not around, they were not present. What kind of person are you behind closed doors? Like, I'm fearful of your children, and I hope that they get removed from your care, because you are breeding something that a monster. They deserve so much better than you. You are the lowest person. And the people in the comments that are comment anonymously, you picked the wrong fucking thing to be like you. That's a battle you're never going to win. There's people interracing all the time. Everybody's mixed with something. All the problems in the world right now, and you choose to be racist. Blow up her shit. Like, blow it up. Go to her GoFundMe.
And pay a bunch of money.
Report people on that. Get it shut down. She doesn't $100,000. $100,000 because you're racist.
No, 500,000.
Minnesota was never great. Minnesota's like the 4th racist state in the states.
Isn't that funny? Minnesota's, according to this lady, the fourth racist state. And you know, they got the wokest, most DEI having leadership in the state. Apparently it's not working, right? Just like the gun laws in Chicago. It's so weird. These people, they stand and shout from the rooftops, these Democrat leaders, and then the states that they run they're in charge of are just run rampant with the crime that they, you know, the activities that they stand and speak up against, you know, the strongest and the most. It's very poor leadership. And this person is completely wrong. That statement right there was terrible, saying that this woman who, you know, made a comment in response to somebody trying to steal her property. It's just like, come on.
Right. Well, you know what's crazy?
And this lady that's also, sorry, just real quick, this lady also is suggesting like she loves white people. I mean, you can just tell by what she's saying that she has a chip on her shoulder towards white people. Right. You know, I want this white lady ruined and destroyed.
Yeah. Well, I have confirmation of this, but we can't show it because it's like I'm just not going that route.
Right.
But they were sending photos of her home from their cars within a few hours of this going viral. They'd already found her. So people were taking photos of her front door and sending them to her and posting them on her social media, like as all these intimidation things, right? And it was like her social security number had been leaked out, I think within even like 4 or 5 hours of it happening. Having to relocate, obviously, pull her children out of school too. Even the school was aware of it before she even got to the school, which is like insane how quickly things can travel like that. And she said it, right? She said it herself. She said, blow this woman up. Right. And what does that mean, right? It means like she wants her life to get destroyed. Over that.
She wants her canceled, removed, fired, destroyed. Right. She wants her kids taken away from her. She said it clear as day.
Right. And you know, I'm not sure
of racism. And it's like, you know, just grow some thicker fucking skin. Like, right. I'm sorry, but crying the loudest and crying the hardest is a weak man's society. Like, just grow some fucking thicker skin. Like, seriously, they've been calling Trump supporters every ist and phobe and whatever in the book for 10 years. Have some thick skin and just recognize that you're not what they're calling you, or embrace it if you are, and just stop doing this.
Yeah. Now, and that's the thing too, right? Like, I think we all burying really like what the major headline is with that is. So what we're really at is that the equally as deviant for white people to say a mean word is the same level of equally deviant for a black individual to casually murder somebody. Like, that's where we are at right now. And that is like, if that is not a broad wake up call for people to show like where we are in terms of the anti-white and pro-black kind of social fabric we have, people aren't going to wake up at all. Now, the post I was going to also throw in there too, looks like the person made their account private. They're probably getting targeted. But basically was just making the statement that, like, caring about Shiloh and who she is personally isn't really what's going on here, what's making up the broad nature of this narrative. It's more so that Shiloh has become the avatar that people can project onto them their anger and disgust they feel with the current social environment when it comes to the racialized lines to everything.
Right. That's why I worded it in the intro, kind of like we're waging the new wave of race war is via gifts and go donations.
Right. Exactly.
It's to your point. And it sucks because honestly, that is a peaceful way for people to vent their frustrations and keep it just limited to, look, I'm going to give you $5 and say, fuck this other person. You know what I mean? Right. Or whatever, or keep up the good work or however it is.
Yeah.
Versus now I can't say anything. Now I can't do anything. Simple. What's the next step? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because Steven Crowder even points out, because he watched it too. And I wanted to avoid watching the clip because it is just so aggressive.
Right.
But the guy,
if you guys do want to watch it, Atlas did put it up on his channel. So check out Atlas Thugged YouTube channel and go look at one of his most recent videos. I'm not sure if it's your most recent one or and you can watch the entire exchange on the playground. It's we know what the topic we're talking about, and so I'm actually surprised that YouTube lets it fly. Like I watched the video, I'm like, oh, okay. YouTube let that roll. I wasn't sure if they would or not.
Okay, I have to be honest here. I was unsure when I was making the video. Like, I wanted to show it, obviously, to give people the full context.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to get my thing taken down when I'm that close to being monetized all the way.
Yeah.
So no joke, and judge me if you want. I typed in the hard R on YouTube and I saw plenty of videos that had it in there. And I was like, okay. When I saw the full version of the Burger King guy was available on YouTube, I was like, okay. Like, clearly they're not moderating on that. I just made sure to keep it out of the first 30 seconds. But the point that Steven Crowder had made with this is similar to what Evo Elmo had said, which is like the selective outrage there. And the guy says the word about 100 times while he's responding back to the woman. He's like, you saying, did you say hard R to him? You really said hard R to him? Hard R? Say hard R. And it's like, he says it like 100 times. And I think that makes the point that it's clear that like, they're not really sensitive about the word itself. It's that they hate when anyone else uses it.
Right.
And that's the selective outrage. And you look at that when it comes to obviously all of the media, right? When it comes to music and things like that, saying all the time. Now I get it. They're not using the hard R. They're using like their more slang version of it too. But, and I think it goes to the whole thing, which is.
That doesn't matter. That's stupid. I'm sorry. Right. The hard R, the A, it's.
Yeah.
It's.
No, I get it.
Very tribal and elementary. It's stupid.
Right. No, I think it is too. And I think that it's like the reason why I think it's very contentious is like, it's a power thing. It's a leverage thing, right? That's where that meme comes from. It's like, say it to me, I dare you. Right. It's like an exertion of power of like, I can, you can't, I dare you. And then if you do, it's socially it's socially okay for me to violently
Legal, legally too.
right. Like it's like in everyone's minds, it's like, oh well, man, like whoa, that guy's hurting that guy really bad. What happened? It's like, oh, he said the N-word. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's fine. Kill him. Step on his neck. Get him.
Right,
It's like,
get
what
him.
the heck? It's like
He
that's the
said
one
the
thing.
word. He said the word.
Yeah, but you know, Lord forbid that you tell someone that they're not in the right spot and they need to move their backpack.
Right.
You know, like it's insane. And like
Stab
again,
in the heart.
but it's unsustainable. This is why the younger generations, they see this, they see how unequal it is, and they're not buying when the boomers
Yeah.
on TV say, well, this is the reasons why we respect these things. They're like, bro, come on.
Right.
This isn't right. It's not fair. It's not like, not even matter like not being fair. It's a matter of like, it's very unequal. The administering of like what's allowed and not allowed between the races is not a long-term solution. It's unsustainable. Either everyone says it or nobody says it. It's like you have two options. You got to pick one.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's backtracking, really. You know what I mean? It's progressive in reverse, progress in reverse. Just it's crazy, man. Like my generation was more MLK, live, let live. We love everybody. And this younger generation, I believe, is increasingly more racist, simply because of what they're witnessing, what they're feeling. You know, the young white men, young white boys, and girls as well, being told that they're privileged, being told to step aside and allow the other person to go, and you know, falling short due to DEI regulations and policies and stuff like that. And it's just like, well, now I'm being persecuted. Now I'm the one that's forced to drink from the whites only, drinking fountain and use the whites only. And it's because the blacks are separating themselves from us almost. It's like a reversal of plight.
Yeah, well, it's like when, we talk
engineered.
about how, well, it's like for the younger generations, right? Like they're probably less hip to maybe like the political stuff, more so maybe like what they see in pop culture. So for them, it's like they see Netflix and it's like, oh, Netflix race swapped again. And people are like, race swapped? I mean, it only goes one way. You only take out the white person and add a black person. Like it's not like there's a mass amount of them being like, and we're gonna do Black Panther 3, played by Chris Evans, right?
Oh,
like,
you know what? That's a good point. They need to have like Jason Statham play Shaft. I think he would be a great Shaft.
but that's the point. It's just not going the other way. And I think people, whether they're privy to the political side of it, they at least can pick up on those things. Even as kids, you can pick up on that stuff. You can probably tell when like this new movie's coming out, right? And it's like, okay, this person, okay, black person here. New movie comes out, okay, black person, main character here, and those things they can probably pick up on. Maybe not full capacity, but they at least subconsciously can tell there's a clear emphasis on one versus the other.
Yeah. Is anybody watching that new Last of Us series, season 2? I haven't watched it. I watched the first season, and I gotta say that the main character, the girl, is a terrible actress. The writing is terrible. I can't even remember. I can't remember the specifics, but I remember watching the last like 2 episodes and analyzing it and going, that whole scenario was just so stupid and flawed. Like none of that makes any logical sense that they would stay and remain in that situation or whatever. And then I guess season 2 has just gone even more faker and gayer, and it's pretty funny because I almost signed up for HBO again so that I could watch it in the season 2 of Dragons and some of the things that I've been holding out to watch. But at this point, yeah.
Right. Well, The Last of Us was actually
and they killed
off of, it's based off the video game, right?
Yeah, and it was a great video game. I remember watching a streamer just play through, and I was thinking, dang, this video game would make a great movie. Like, because it was just entertaining. It was a great plot, like just watching, not even playing it. And now it's Hollywoodified.
Well, the thing is, it's like it's funny. So like, it's actually gone full circle because The Last of Us was what kicked off Gamergate. So it was the transition. So The Last of Us, the first one, right? Part 1 is just Joel, right, trying to protect Ellie, has like the phenomenal ending in the very, very end. And spoiler alert for like, this game's like almost 10 years old. If you haven't seen it yet, sorry. Sucks to be a loser. But no, I'm just joking. But in the end of it, there's no wokeness, there's no anything. But then they had the trailer come out for the second one, and it was all wokeified. It was introducing brand new female character that like no one even knows, has no correlation to the game. The opening scene is not Joel, what's her name, Ellie, having a lesbian relationship. So like the Hollywood movie didn't even make it even more woke than what it already was.
A lesbian relationship in a post-apocalypse scenario, just slap the shit out of them. What the hell is wrong with you?
Right. It's retarded. It is. And the first one was so good. It was so good. People loved that game. I think many people would still consider it maybe in the top 5 of games of all time.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it was great just to watch. Didn't even play it.
Right. And they destroyed it. They took it and they made it as gay and as Brokeback Mountain as they possibly could. And even to the point too, right, where it had like most people are saying, they killed off the main character in that season 2, which is what people are irritated about. But that happens in the game and people hated it. I don't even think you get a chance to play as Joel in the second game. You just basically watch him die, and then you play as 2 females the entire time. So that kicked off a lot of people being irritated and frustrated of an overt effemination of a game series that many people had come to love and were excited and were anticipating. And then the second one was a massive letdown that had been gayified to, here in Timbuktu.
Yeah, for sure. I heard that Pedro Pascal doesn't even look like Joel from the game either. I can't remember that much detail, but
Joel's a white guy.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, Pedro doesn't look anything like Joel. But the first one was amazing.
Jay says, I want new series to put gay stuff in first episode so I don't waste too much time watching.
Don't hide it.
Yeah, for real.
I want to be the first thing I have to see so I can tell.
Well, I'm to the point where it's like, just keep the sex scenes and keep all that crap out of the shows I'm watching. It's not good content. And if I want to watch that stuff, I'm not going to put on a movie for it. You know what I mean? Like, just in theory, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a stupid waste of time. It's awkward if you're sitting there with your wife watching some, straight or gay sex scene. And it's just like, all right. Let's fast forward this. Like, it just wasted 8 minutes or 6 minutes of this TV show that we're watching. It's complete waste of time. Like, it's I don't it's lazy, it's poor writing, and it's just bad faith and lazy in the get-go from the front end.
Well, there's probably still around, and I can't remember the name of it, but I think if you type in how gay is this show or how woke is this show.com.
It's true. You can't get turned on when your wife is sitting next to you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't want to be turned on. I'm watching a show that, like you're watching Game of Thrones and like dude's getting his like heart stabbed and freaking legs cut off. And the next thing is like a pair of boobs in a makeout scene. And you're like, wait a minute. No. I'm not here for this.
It's funny with Boral. It's like the gay sex scenes, and you're like, "Oh man, I can't stand up, guys. I'm sorry. Can you give me a blanket?"
Boral sleeping with the chickens tonight.
It's funny. That's funny, but no, because there used to be like a Christian website that would like match up with Netflix, and it would say like it would give you like even more in-depth ratings of the show. To like, because PG-13 don't really tell you much because there could be something that they really don't want your kid to see. And the Christian site would like break it down into further detail of like what actually happens in the scene and where they happen.
Right.
There's another spin-off of that was like how gay is this show, when it would outline like here are all the homosexual activity in the show. So you could tell ahead of time if there were gay stuff in it.
Oh, nice.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was called, or how woke is this show? One of the two.
Nice. It's actually, I think that's cool. So Cassandra did actually respond on her own post here, and she just said, my first reaction to this video was she should have confronted the parents instead, but the parents weren't even there. Where were they? Why is their kid stealing and getting filmed by an accused pedo at a park? Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums up the scenario, the overall. But what a crazy interaction. I didn't have that one on my bingo card for 2025, to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah.
Tiny blonde lady yelling inward on the playground after being accused of yelling it to a kid.
Yeah, defiantly to a Somalian man. Right? And what's crazy is I think some of the worst things I saw was there was a tweet that went viral that basically said, the time of recording these people is over. The era of ending, I don't even know how to say that on YouTube. And so it's basically just saying, like, don't record it next time, just harm them. And it had like hundreds of thousands of likes. Like, that's like the era we're in right now.
For real. No shame at all, man. Crap, dude.
I know.
People are out of freaking control.
No, it's disgusting, man.
So how are you on time? You want to keep going?
I am out of time, but if you want to keep going, because there's a couple smaller ones, like really easy ones to do, like the AI boot camp was pretty cool. And so was the one that says fuck ICE. Is there's a classroom that did a coordinated skit together where they like are getting the kids to chant like in rap songs like F ICE. And there's like a recording of them in high school doing that.
Like Ice Baby, like Vanilla Ice.
No, like F ICE is in like the
I know, I'm just
oh word, okay.
Sorry.
You got me there for a second. I'm like, what? It's funny.
Yeah.
And so yeah, if you want to keep going, I'm gonna go ahead and probably just pop out of here. And then I went ahead and attached the Nicene Creed if you wanted to do that at the end of the show.
Okay.
That's above the thumbnail there in the outline.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and call it here, actually.
Word.
I gotta cook dinner still, and it's 9:12.
Word.
So we'll save these other ones for the next show. If you want.
I'm on me. Our order list is massive.
Right. Yeah, I see that. I'll go for a little while. Screw it. I'm all right. I can eat dinner a little bit later. Hopefully my wife doesn't yell at me.
Word. I hope so
Well,
for your sake.
Yeah, what people are saying bye in chat. I guess maybe we should wrap it up. What do you think? What do you think, chat? I'll leave it up to you guys. You guys want to hang out longer?
Chat.
More. All right. I'll hang out for a while. Go do your thing.
Word. All right. Well, but everybody, I will see you guys on Monday. I appreciate everybody for being here. Christ is King. And have fun with World. And if you're still watching on my X, if you're watching there, you're live streaming it from my X account, it should still continue to stream even after me leaving. So don't worry about having to jump ship or have to go somewhere else.
Right. If not, if it does cancel for some reason, you can find the show on my X is streaming as well, World. And then you can always go to the Jar Openers podcast on YouTube to watch the show, which I recommend. Looks like we got about 30 people watching on Atlas's X channel. And man, it would be great for all 33 of you guys to go over to YouTube, look up the Jar Openers podcast, and hit that subscribe button. You guys would help us out tremendously. And it's a good way you can give away Google's money for free. It's a free way you can give away Google's money. Well, once we get monetized. But if you think we should be monetized, if you like the show, that is a good way that you guys can help us, and we'd appreciate it. So I got to ask, right?
Have to.
But yeah. But man, go take care of the family. Good job.
Peace out, everybody.
And we'll see
Pray
you.
that my wife doesn't harm me.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So let's have a look at this AI boot camp. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be discovering along with you guys. Alice added this one to the outline, and I didn't have time to look into it ahead of the time. But Mario Nafal posted 2-hour school days. This Texas school uses AI to teach faster. Okay, well let's see how this let's see how what this is all about. TNT made me laugh. You guys need a naked dancer or something to bring new folks. Yeah, that'd be good. But you wouldn't like it if I was a naked dancer. See, that's the thing. I mean, it's got to be the right one. Andrew says, come over here, X people. It's fun in chat. Yeah, you're missing out on a great chat. We got one of the best chats on YouTube, in my opinion. We have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and people are starting to know each other. It's a growing community. So come on over. Also, you guys, if you are on YouTube, you can find the link to our Discord in the description, where we keep these conversations going 24/7, and everybody is welcome to join if you'd like. It's a place where we iron sharpens iron. And TNT says, we're pantless. As far as you guys know. I'm just not going to stand up. Don't ask me to stand up. We have plenty of pitchforks to share. Okay, so Mario Nafal posted 2-hour school days. This Texas school uses AI to teach faster. At Alpha School in Texas, kids are done with math, science, English, and social studies before you've even finished growing TikTok. Instead of boring lectures, students use AI to knock out lessons in just 2 hours, then spend afternoons learning life skills like public speaking, financial smarts, or even riding a bike. Teachers are called guides. Homework's basically optional. And one student said she sometimes works till midnight for fun. All right, so that's new. Meanwhile, the school's so techie, it's being compared to SpaceX, and half the kids' parents literally work there. So yeah, while other schools are banning phones, this one is using AI to crank out top test scores, and their students are asking for more school. This is a source by Newsweek. So that's actually pretty awesome. And apparently, Trump orders AI boot camp for American kids and teachers. But before I get into that part of it, I just want to say this is really cool. It's almost like homeschool. Like if the parents are working at the place, it's almost like homeschool, but like mobile, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll play the video here in just one sec. But I think that's pretty awesome because, you know, I'm a big advocate for homeschooling nowadays, and I think public school is crap, but I like this concept. And here, since you asked, I'll just go ahead and play this video. It's 3 minutes.
This is Alpha School, where teachers are considered guides and students study for only 2 hours a day, and supposedly they're learning twice as fast.
You condense like a 6-hour normal school day into only 2 hours, and it's not like with a teacher standing in front of you. It's with an AI app that's personalized to skills that you need to learn in the grade level.
Students begin each day with a group activity to build connection and focus. Then, for the next 2 hours, students spend their time on an AI program that custom builds their learning path in real time. It's a personalized AI-driven experience with one-on-one virtual tutors that adjust instantly to the student's move.
In public school, you very much just teach a blanket lesson, and you just hope and you cross your fingers that kids catch on.
Because the AI learning only takes 2 hours, the rest of the day is open for exploring their passions like swimming, art, or even launching their own startup.
And my favorite, gym class. 2 hours of learning, the rest of the day, gym.
Some dive into music. One student, he's building a cleaning robot.
When I build it, I program it to clean.
You're gonna program it to clean stuff?
Yeah,
That's
like
smart.
tiny stuff.
After lunch, like it's not academics, it's just the workshops, the teamwork, the doing your passion project. And so for them, I think that's why they take it so seriously, because they have that understanding of this isn't a traditional school where I'm going to be doing this for the entire day. But I know that if I'm going to condense an entire day down into just the morning, then that's what has to get done.
If you get an epic day, if you get 9 masteries, well, you don't have to do your computer anymore. You can paint, make stuff.
So what do you think about your guides here?
They're nice.
Yeah.
They don't tell me the answers. They just give me resources.
They light up when they talk about them. Like they just feel like, you know, this is the person who really cares about them and leans into who they are as a person. Like they just get to know that kid. Sure. And they try to help motivate them through the things that they love and help guide them.
They never will tell you that you can't do something. So over time, like then you develop that mindset. And so just like the environment from day one has always been like, you can do anything if you set your mind to it. So I think that's like where I started to learn motivation.
I spoke to Sarah, and who really made a deep impact on me.
Oh, I love that.
When I walked away, I texted my son, just met a 6-year-old who used incentive correctly in a sentence. My son, who just turned 11, says, "What does incentive mean?"
You're gonna make me cry.
So that
That's huge.
to me was like instantly verification that it's working. Something is working here.
Yeah, I feel like public schools need to have an open mind and really start leveraging the power of AI and individualized learning models.
Well, this is really, it's weird. Like, I feel like I want to go to this school now. Like right now, I want to go to it. But Andrew asked a good question. I would like to know if they're really learning anything. I mean, 2 hours of learning just doesn't seem like enough. But I don't know. Like, I use Grok and I use AI and I see how fast it can deliver. Like, just so you guys know, sometimes whenever we have topics there in the outline and I have no idea about them, I'll go to Grok and I'll just say, "Hey, tell me about this." And, it gives you multiple paragraphs on the topic and references and things like that. And so I get how AI can be very directly like informative and things like that, but you still have to be able to absorb it. And I guess when it's fun, if they're creating this environment to be like more fun, then I know for me, time goes by super fast when you're having fun. And I don't know, it's maybe they're retaining more of, it's like a 2 hours of education, but they're able to retain more of it. I don't know, it's crazy. Kind of think of like, no, it's not like Kelly Bundy. Kelly Bundy gets so smart, and then when she learns something new, she forgets something. Overload. I don't know. It's I think this is cool. TNT mentions he doesn't trust a teacher in a beanbag, which is pretty funny. Yeah, House asked, when they grow up, will they be able to do math in their head? It's a good question. That's funny because that's like one of my strong suits is math, and I always struggled in class because they would want me to show my work, and it's like, I don't know, I just look at the equation and know the answer, and like, but how'd you get to that? I thought of it. So they always wanted me to show my work for me to get great, get the proper grade, and it was frustrating, but I don't know. These kids are either going to be way ahead of the game because of the extracurricular activities that they're learning, their social skills that they're developing, learning about a checkbook. A lot of these things that I've said that we needed to implement in public school seems like at the forefront of this scenario, where like they mentioned like financial training and stuff like that. And so if you could teach a kid how important it is to put money in savings at a young age and have an invest account or whatever it is, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how to get rich, but if you can teach young kids how to be rich and how to be responsible with other things, and even start teaching, some of these actual, like, I don't know what you call it, blue collar skills or whatever, plumbing, electrical, how to build a house, how to engineer, how water flows off of surfaces, for like city engineering and stuff like that. They'd be way ahead of the game. I mean, you're talking about getting college diplomas way younger and things like that, which, if you accelerate your education process, you miss out on some of the sports that you play. And I think that's a big part of a young man's development or young person's development as well. As I always recommend, like getting into wrestling for a young man. It teaches you how to win, how to handle winning in a one-on-one scenario. It teaches you how to lose in a one-on-one scenario. Additionally, it whips you in shape, teaches you some discipline about how to manage your weight, all kinds of things, right? And so if you accelerate your school program, then you kind of skip on some of that stuff as well. Pablo says, my nephew does a homeschool program called VTech. It's similar to this sort of thing. He gets his work done in like 3 hours and can do it anywhere. I mean, that's really cool. I know that's would have been more conducive for me, more conducive learning environment for me. Having me sit down and be quiet just wasn't the best. I would sit there, practice my signature. Like I got really good at my signature in high school. I thought I was going to be a pro baseball player, so that was the most important thing to me, was knowing how to sign my signature perfectly. Stuff like that. Totally just disinterested is the point. Totally distracted, disinterested. AI starts doing all of the teaching, and the teachers will still want raises in a couple more years. That's funny. TNT says, I bet the gay flag is on that bare spot when the camera goes. If they grow up relying on AI, what happens when someone changes the answers to their bias? Yeah, there's definitely some new ramifications with potential outcomes with this new layout, that's for sure. Pablo says, let's be honest, 90% of the things they teach are pointless. If you're focused on just the actual important things, it would only take a couple years. That's true. Hal says, I'm just worried that they won't be able to think for themselves when they grow up. Yeah, that's a good concern. But I don't know. It seems like they're still in like a community environment with other kids and being able to develop social skills. Looks like they're being programmed, not taught. Yeah, that's one thing that I'm kind of worried about is if you make things so easy at this stage of life, maybe they have troubles when they face the actual struggles of life. You know, they realize that white privilege just doesn't quite actually put money in the bank just for being white. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute, I thought that I was supposed to have it all easy. Just Me says, I think that school looks cool. They get to choose from all different kinds of activities after their 2 hours of work is done. It's basically like being able to take almost all elective classes. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I wonder if they do like home ec and teaching and stuff, or not teaching, cooking and stuff like that. That was one of my favorites. I loved to eat in class when I was a kid. They can do it in 3 hours. Why not give them twice as much work? That's what TNT says. And that's what I was wondering. If they can do it in 3 hours, why not give them, or if they can do it in 2 hours, 3 hours, why not give them 4 hours or 5 or 6 hours of work and then let them mess around for 2 or 3 hours at the end of the day? My school days were like 8 hours. You could teach them a lot more and a lot faster, but maybe it's a overload thing. You teach them too much and then they, in a day, and then they don't retain half of it. I don't know. Becomes not as fun. I like the concept. I like that they're actually trying a new way, right? We've been doing the old way for a long time, and it's gotten pretty nasty. Pablo says, I don't think they're using AI to answer the questions. The AI is acting like the teacher, so I would imagine it would be fine. I think so too. I think I would like to, if I had kids, I'd probably look at this type of school. Teacher needs to tuck her belly. Is he going to challenge you? See, that's what I wonder. Fingers crossed. Yeah, 3 hours of book work, 3 hours of trade skills, 2 hours of gym. Homeschool at that point. 2 hours learning, 6 hours of babysitting. Yeah, at best 2 hours of learning, 6 hours of babysitting. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty wild. It's an interesting concept, and I think I kind of like it. I appreciate at least the new approach. He added this here to his post. Trump orders AI boot camp for American kids and teachers. Trump just signed an executive order forcing schools to train students and teachers in artificial intelligence, creating a White House task force stacked with cabinet members and crypto billionaire David Sachs. Well, yeah, I think they should definitely be teaching how to use AI and write prompts and stuff like that. That's a big deal because AI is where it seems to be at, says Trump. The order instructs federal agencies to form public-private partnerships for implementation. Part of Trump's larger tech push that's already included killing Biden-era AI regulations and securing $500 billion in private investment for data centers. The president simultaneously signed a separate order focused on apprenticeships and tradecraft to ensure Americans can fill factory jobs in the new economy. Well, that's awesome because we need to get these new factories built and up and operated. And if we can, groom these kids to be ready to fill those jobs, that would be great. You know what I mean? It won't be long before, the 12 and 16-year-olds are looking for jobs, and we're going to need that workforce as the population decreases. That's for sure. Because it is decreasing every year now. And then he added this too. Trump team. He added this as well here. Trump team eyes DeepSeek ban. No chips for copycats. DeepSeek may soon be deep-sixed. Trump is weighing a ban on the Chinese AI lab that's been undercutting U.S. rivals and allegedly lifting open AI tech in the process. Yeah, that's one of the things that China's doing right now that we got to be concerned about is that they're stealing our infrastructure, not our infrastructure, but our whatever it is that they use to build this, our information that we build and all the research and money that we spend on developing these new techs. They just come in and figure out how to do it, save all the money, copy it, and then basically sell it back to us or just buy our, implement it in their own businesses and then buy our land with the money that they earn. The crackdown could block access to NVIDIA chips and even ban Americans from using DeepSeek's services, with OpenAI accusing it of model theft and prices plummeting thanks to its cut rate tools. DeepSeek's rise has Wall Street spooked and Washington sharpening, taking a look. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, AI is definitely not going to what intellectual property. Thank you, House. That's what I was looking for. China steals our intellectual property, copies it, rebrands it, sells it back to us, and then uses that money to buy our own land. It's an invasion. It's attack. It's what is it called? Fifth dimensional warfare. Andrea said, is that school in America? I wonder if they're implementing American history in that school. That's a good question. And I believe it was in Texas. Let me see here. Yeah, at Alpha School in Texas. It's called Alpha School. Good name. Lutnick said those factories will be manned by robots. Well, maybe. Yeah, you might be right about that. Tix Bomber has a great point. OpenAI has no business calling anyone a thief when every penny they've made is from theft. And that's true. Tim Pool made this point the other day that he's like, there's AI that has watched every single one of my videos. And then they develop their programs and develop their platform off of that information. Yet they haven't paid Tim Pool one penny for that. You know what I mean? And that actually applies to all of us. Everything that we post on X is being monitored by Grok, OpenAI, all these places everywhere. Everybody's got the AI, and it's all using what you post and what you say and your profile and everything to learn from, essentially to build itself. So yeah, you're right. Ticks, they do essentially kind of steal from everybody in the learning process. Jay mentions that China got away with it because our politicians gave it to them and sold out. Yeah, Biden loved himself some China, that's for sure. TNT said, God bless Texas. So the Muslims are taking it. Oh, that's pretty funny. Takes Bomber says OpenAI was also open sourced when it started, so the founders stole everyone's work and make profit from it without ever giving them any of the shares, every single line of code written for OpenAI. Yeah. So, that's a good point. Throwing out accusations, worried about the needle in somebody else's eye whenever they got a big old log in their own, that's for sure. Pretty cool stuff. I think I like it. We'll just have to see. We'll have to keep an eye on this type of on this school and see what type of kids that they kick out. The first time that somebody does something crazy, it all's gonna come under scrutiny. I don't want to say anybody's gonna do that. I think I believe that they're gonna put out some good U.S. citizens. Let's see. So what was the other one that he mentioned? Oh yeah, F-Ice. Let's check this out real quick. So this is from Libs of TikTok. This is textbook indoctrination in our school system. Kids in a classroom perform a politically charged rap saying F-Ice, giving the middle finger and fear-mongering about law enforcement. What is going on in our schools? Well, so yeah, this is not going on in Alpha School in Texas, that's for sure. I guess I'm gonna play a couple seconds of this because we got to hear the rap, right?
The story of others. The stories of others, intertwining like brothers, trying to change and free from struggles, while at the same time hoping for help under the covers, unrecognized by others. We are all humans, no matter the race. No disgrace, we all deserve a place, and we shouldn't have to pick up our pace.
All right, so they're basically indoctrinating these kids to think that even illegal immigrants deserve their place in America, apparently. This is why you send your kids to Alpha School. This is what they're doing in public school. Oh, Takes Bomber. Oh, shit. Billy throwing up gang signs. Yep. There we go. Here, I'm going to play more. We're going to suffer through this together.
Because a police officer isn't our face or a crazy white lady sprays with mace. We all are not thugs, and we all deserve hugs, and some of us won't even crush bugs. We're getting deported by ICE, and I can't understand why everyone can't suffice. We have might, so we must fight. Just for our rights, look at the future and set our sights.
See, that's the thing. They're saying our and we. And that is a projection that individuals put on. It's something that we all naturally do. We will project our good image onto other people and think that they'll treat you the way that you would treat them. When the reality is, these kids, might have a good heart saying that we're all people and, whatever. But the reality is a lot of the folks coming into the country illegally, well, under Biden, don't give a shit about you or your opinion, and they'll take from you every bit that they can, right? And we got to keep that in mind whenever we send those projections out in life and daily, because sometimes we're giving people grace when they really don't deserve it, and they're looking to take advantage of us, and then we fall victim to that. But all right, we're gonna play more.
Fuck ICE.
They said fuck ICE, and they're waiting for the teacher to be like, hey, you quit cussing. But that teacher is woke. She's gonna let them say it.
Cooked, our system is cooked. Booked, our president should read a book. Shook, every time we see an officer we shouldn't be shook. Look, we shouldn't be judged on the way we look. Light shines through the darkest times, no matter the bull. They will not fold if we all uphold the stories of others, intertwining like brothers, trying to change and free from struggles. We can shine as we work together, and who knows, maybe like a phoenix, we will continue to rise.
Okay. Gunther Eagleman says, "Can this be fixed?" Alpha school, man. I have a feeling alpha school and homeschool are our only hope. Do you think frozen water is witchcraft? If it's hot. See, Doug MD says the racism battle was won 60 years ago and finally saw equality in the 80s. The profiling we see today will always exist. You see someone who looks an awful lot like thugs who are committing crimes, so you deal with them using elevated caution. It's not racism. It's self-preservation. It's instinct. Right. And now we have to be even more guarded because we're seeing the the tensions between races kind of escalate, as we demonstrated there with the whole Give Sin Go battle. And we're seeing a lot of people, if you scroll X for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, you're going to come across somebody saying that in the wake of Carmelo Anthony, there's a lot of people making selfie videos saying, if you're white, don't come up to me, you'll get it too, type scenarios. And we saw that one video or that one statement of the woman that gave to Carmelo Anthony saying that when I was young, we couldn't resist and fight back like this brave young man. We had to just take it. And it's just like, y'all are crazy. Plus, let me tell you a little personal story about my dad. God rest his soul. When he was in high school, he got into a huge fight with a black guy. And the black guy ended up shattering a beer bottle and stabbing my dad in the back, where he ended up with about 200 stitches. And it came real close to hitting him in the heart. My dad, his whole life that I knew him, had a scar this wide and about that long. Big slash going across his back. And it was a fight over, teenage stuff. And so, the fact that they say this is different now, it's not really true. You know what I mean? Not really true at all. That guy that did that ended up going to prison for murdering somebody years later. So thankfully my dad made it out alive and I was able to make it to this planet. But yeah. So let's see here. What else we got? I know we got one other thing I saw. Oh yeah, I did want to mention the Ashley Babbitt settlement. This is pretty cool. This is something that a lot of us probably thought would never happen, but once Trump got in, he's doing things, and I guess this was one of the promises maybe he made. I can't remember exactly, but TNT says I got shanked with a putt golf pencil in juvie. But it was in the buttocks by a black. Yeah. Sounds funny, but it hurt like hell. Oh, I bet. Get lead poisoning that way. I'm just kidding about that, by the way, the lead poisoning. I know it's graphite. No, but if you're curious what started the fight, it was high schoolers being high schoolers. My dad threw a book at the guy. My dad was a varsity football player, and he knew Bushido Khan, and he actually whipped the dude's ass and left him and was walking away. And the dude broke the beer bottle, chased him. My dad was running, ran into a group of kids in the school in the hallway, and the guy caught up to him and right across his back. I don't know. I don't know how much he weighed. I'm going to guess he probably weighed about 180 in high school. He was always a little bigger than me. Too bad they didn't have Gifts and Go back then, right? So anyways, Ashley Babbitt, over 4 years ago, I witnessed this documented, Taylor Hansen posted, he said, over 4 years ago, I witnessed and documented the murder of Ashley Babbitt, shot by Michael Byrd, an emotionally unstable and reckless officer. For nearly 2 years, I was obsessed with uncovering the full truth of what really happened on January 6th, especially to Ashley. I watched as the mainstream media used my footage to label a woman trying to help police as a terrorist. I watched as Ashley was denied military honors, and as her grieving family scattered her ashes at sea. I watched as elected officials and legacy media praised her killer as a hero. I watched the U.S. government and legacy media conceal Byrd's identity for months, even after I publicly named him. I watched the J6 Select Committee deliberately exclude Ashley's name from hearings and reject my testimony entirely. I watched the FBI and 48 federal air marshals violate my privacy simply because what I filmed and said. And I watched my life transform radically because of that day. It brought me to a breaking point, and ultimately it led me to surrender my life to Christ. Now I got to watch the government now I get to watch the government finally begin to admit its wrongdoings and the first steps towards justice for Ashley and her family. Thank you, real Donald Trump. And that was in response to this post by Tom Fitton, who said, I can confirm at Judicial Watch that a settlement has been agreed to in principle in the $30 million wrongful death lawsuit we filed against the U.S. government, filed on behalf of Ashley's family. The settlement should be finalized within a few weeks, and we will have more details for you soon. God bless America. And he accompanied that with this video here. So let's have a look. Let's have a look and listen.
I got very upset again recently about January 6th. I was rewatching the video of the needless killing of Ashley Babbitt, the Air Force veteran, shot for no good reason by Lieutenant Michael Byrd of the U.S. Capitol Police. Now, I've watched those videos. I can't believe he just shot her dead like that. I just can't believe it. And few in this corrupt city give a rat's tail about that awful shooting. But millions of Americans care. And her family cares. I think her mom, Mickey, is still here at CPAC. Is Mickey here? Well, give her a round of applause anyway. God bless her. $30 million. And that's why I'm so pleased Judicial Watch just filed a $30 million wrongful death lawsuit against the U.S. government. On behalf of the family of Ashley Babbitt, as our lawsuit states, the facts speak truth. Ashley was ambushed when she was shot by Lieutenant Byrd.
Yeah.
Multiple witnesses at the scene yelled, "You just murdered her."
Yeah.
Judicial Watch is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. I tell you what, if it takes 30 more years to get justice for Ashley, that will be time well spent.
Hopefully it won't take that long. So yeah, that dude was definitely a coward. Tix Bomber said, I got shot in the calf hunting. I'm about 100% sure it was someone wanting to see what it was like to shoot someone, or a drunk person looking to shoot anything. I had plenty of orange on. Man, that's crazy. I've been shot at hunting. A jackass was in a field across from me, and he just started boom, boom, boom at a deer that was running right at me, and I heard the weird sound of a bullet going by. Like you can hear it tumbling through the air. It's a very memorable sound. I'm sure you probably heard it when it happened. That's crazy. I assume, Tix, that you're didn't hit bone. You're okay. You can walk and all that. How long did it take for it to rehab? It was through and through, so it didn't blow out anything hard and fleshy. Oh wow. That's crazy. Just me says, this was the first time I ever heard of this dude's name. Never spent a day in jail. He's a cold-blooded murderer. Yeah, he is. He is. He hid over to the side while Ashley Babbitt was, chipping away at the window or whatever she was doing. And then as soon as she came through, he jumped out and he shot her right in the face. Went straight for the kill shot. I fully believe that if he would have put his hand out and said, stop, here's my pistol. 99.9% sure she would have stopped, even before she went through the window. So he basically just sat there in a little mousetrap, waited for her to come through the hole, and then executed her. Cold-blooded, and there's no other way about it. And the dude was irresponsible. He had previously, before that, apparently left his pistol in the bathroom unattended. He left, like he, flushed the toilet and left, and somebody else found his gun. Pretty crazy. The dude didn't have any business being there. He's not a good security guard, whatever you want to call him. And he definitely deserves to be prosecuted on murder charges. And hopefully Ashley Babbitt's family gets this $30 million as soon as possible. But I did see, I don't have it here, but I do believe let me do this real quick. I thought, darn it, I thought I saw something where Trump actually had addressed it. Okay, I guess not. Seeing some good stories in there, though. Anyways. Yeah, same officer that left his firearm in the shitter. Yeah, that's exactly the same guy. Yeah, TNT, watching the video, he was in no danger. She was zero threat. Exactly. Six mentioned, yeah, it took 8 months. Had to have surgery. Messed up your calf quite a bit. Dang, dude. How old were you? If you don't mind me asking. Trump joking about how he should be the Pope. Yeah. let's actually look at that for a second. I have that in here. So former President Donald Trump jokingly, actually, let me pull it up on the screen here. This is so funny. So former President Donald Trump jokingly expressed interest in becoming the next pope following the death of Pope Francis on April 21st. On April 29th, when asked by reporters at the White House who he would like to see succeed Pope Francis, Trump quipped, "I'd like to be the Pope. That would be my number one choice." He followed up by saying he had no real preference, but suggested Cardinal Timothy Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, as a potential candidate, noting, we have a cardinal that happens to be out of place called New York, who's Oh, out of a place. Okay, let me say that over. We have a cardinal that happens to be out of a place called New York, who's very good. So we'll see what happens. Trump took the jest further on May 2nd by posting this AI-generated image of himself dressed as in papal vestments on his Truth Social platform, showing him in a white, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with these words, but white cassock and mitre. So forgive me if I'm saying these wrongs. And, you know, guys, let me know what you think about this dude, Tim Dolan. For those of you guys that are Catholics, this Timothy Dolan, do you think he would be a good next pope? So the White House official, so then the White House's official X account reposted this image, amplifying its reach. The move sparked a polarized reaction online. Supporters, including some on X, praised the humor with posts like, "Holy crap, Donald Trump stuns the world by posting a picture of himself as the next pope. Fire. Donald Trump would be one of the best popes to ever live." Others included the New York State Catholic Conference, including the New York State Catholic Conference, found it disrespectful, stating, "There is nothing clever or funny about this image. Do not mock us, especially given the timing during our mourning period for Pope Francis." Critics, such as former RNC chairman Michael Stills, said the post called the post unserious and incapable, and the group of Republicans against Trump labeled it as full-on lunacy. Watching people just melt down in response to this is just so near and dear to my heart, right? Trump is such a fantastic troll. I mean, his use of AI here and just posting a picture. It's like he woke up and was like, you know what? I'm going to fuck with some people. So the context was the, wait, let's see here. Okay, yeah, so the context was the upcoming papal conclave set to begin on May 7th to elect a new pope. Trump's comments on the AI image were seen as trolling by some, with comedian Terrence K. Williams noting on X, "Pope Trump, ... LOL, our president just posted this. He's trolling because he knows the media is going to flip out." However, others, like Melanie Diarago, criticized the move, pointing to Trump's personal life, saying the guy who broke all 10 commandments is posting pictures of himself cosplaying as the next pope. Did Trump murder somebody that I forgot about? All 10? Okay, well, anyways, sensational left, right? Trump's remarks also drew playful support from political allies. Senator Lindsey Graham posted on X, quote, "This would truly be a dark horse candidate, but I would ask the papal conclave, I don't know, I'm probably saying that wrong, and Catholic faithful to keep an open mind about this possibility. The first Pope U.S. president combination has many upsides. Watching for white smoke, Trump, MMXXVIII, I don't know what that is. Is that what, 228? Trump, 228. Similarly, Vice President J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio jokingly referenced the idea, with Vance suggesting Rubio for the role on X. Despite the attention, Trump, a non-denominational Christian who is not a cardinal or Catholic clergy, is ineligible for the papacy. His endorsement of Cardinal Dolan is unlikely to influence the conclave, as experts like Carlos Iyer from Yale University noted the College of Cardinals will not pay much attention, if any, to what he or any other head of state suggests. The frontrunners for the papacy include cardinals like Luis Antonio Tagle of the Philippines and Pietro Parolin of Italy, with Dolan not considered a serious contender. So, anyways, I thought this was just hilarious here. And let's hear, does Trump actually... Okay, they're not gonna play his actual speech. Okay. Funny stuff. I love Trump for this. This is great. Why not, right? Let me read through chat here. Show got around. It's been fun. Oh, take care, Jay. Appreciate you. Oh, boo-hoo. Yeah, yeah. Pope Trump. TNT says Pope needs to abolish gays in church. Yes. I'd be an Old Testament Pope, says TNT. I don't know much about the Pope. I'm not never been in the Catholic stuff, so communism has got to suck. Yeah, I totally understand the democracy or death ideal. What's up, Michael? And then what do we got? What else we got here? I think we got do I have anything else? Waltz is out. James O'Keefe, Trump, Fetterman. Well, yeah, Fetterman. He's been in the news lately. All of his staff are basically trying to turn on him. What else? Where is it at? Do I have something summarizing? I think I got some. Okay. I do have this, though. Just real quick, we'll do this, and then we'll say our prayer and get out of here. Michael, you keep getting removed from YouTube? Huh. TNT says, I'm not Catholic either, but in the old days, they wouldn't share their biscuit with me when I went, so I'm bitter. That's pretty funny. So anyways, got this quick little video. Nick Sorter posted, what the F? Senator John Fetterman was caught on video blocking his flight to Pittsburgh from taking off because he wanted to argue with the pilot about having to wear a seatbelt. Is he drunk or is he entitled? Slob, rules for thee but not for me are the words Democrats live by. Totally. So Andrea said, I see that, Michael. Your comments are disappearing. I'm not deleting them, Mike. Okay. You delete them sometimes. All right. My bad. Okay. So anyways, let's check out this video here real quick of Fetterman.
Is your seatbelt on?
Fetterman.
Yes, it is. Okay, it needs to be visible for the crew at all times. That's not an us thing. That's a federal regulation. So it's okay. It's okay. Okay, it's okay, but it just has to be visible to the crew at all times. It's a federal regulation, so if your seatbelt's on, it just has to be visible. And right now, it's not visible. We have an extender if you'd like that. It'll make it bigger so it can go outside of your sweatshirt. Would that work? You do, sir. If you want to go to Pittsburgh, it's simple. You have to follow our instructions. We're going to ask to get off the airplane. We're not asking much. Let it happen. Like all that needs, we need to be able to see your seatbelt at all times. I've been flying for 30 years. I've never experienced I'm not sure what's. Okay, what's a federal regulation? So if I don't make you do it, then I get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble because I like my job.
Rules for thee, but not for me. I like that the pilot being a principled man, not letting Fetterman just be like, I am the federal government. I am the federal regulations. Do you know who I am? Just waiting for that to come out of Fetterman's mouth. I'm surprised it didn't. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. We ran an hour longer than normal, but I had fun doing it. Glad I stuck around after Atlas had to go. I'm going to wrap us up with the Nicene Creed. Probably said that wrong. So if you want to bow your heads. I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I believe in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, born of the Father before all ages, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, consubstantial with the Father. Through him all things were made. For us men and for our salvation, he came down from heaven, and by the Holy Spirit was incarnate of the Virgin Mary and became man. For our sake, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate. He suffered death and was buried and rose again on the third day in accordance with the scriptures. He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father. He will come again in glory to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom will have no end. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Father and the Son, who with the Father and the Son is adored and glorified, who has spoken through the prophets. I believe in one holy, Catholic, and apostolic church. I confess one baptism for the forgiveness of sins, and I look forward to the resurrection of the dead and the life of the world to come. Amen. And like I said in the beginning, we will keep James O'Keefe in our prayers this evening and hope that whatever it is that he's battling right now doesn't get to him. And so with that, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. And as always, you guys are the best chat on YouTube. I'm so thankful. And Christ is King. We'll see you guys on Monday.
With war rolling at the start, we here to bring the truth. Jar open this podcast, we breaking through the fake news. They try to silence us, but we will be subdued. We're bearded alpha males here to save the youth. Spitting fire on the mic with the bass Christian takes. Exposing the lies, keeping the demons at bay. We ain't afraid to speak up, we won't be swayed. Jar open this podcast, where the truth is laid. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas up, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. We ain't playing games, we're on a mission to awaken the masses with our intuition. Pulling out the corruption with no inhibition. Jar open this podcast, sparking a revolution. We're not afraid to stand tall in a world full of deceit. We're the voice of reason, bringing light to the street, keeping it real, never missing a beat. Jar open this podcast, where the truth meets the heat. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas up, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. Jar open this podcast, where the truth will never cease. Join us on the journey to bring back peace. We're rolling Atlas up, fearless in our release. Jar open this podcast, where the lies will decrease.